What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Happy Friday to you, Coop. We've had a long couple of days, but we here. And we got good news. We might have the album of the year right here. Shout
Ain't
out to
no money.
everybody that's in the room already. God damn, we got like 200 some people in here already.
Really?
Okay. Yes. Peace to everybody. Yes. What's
That's
up?
good.
Real Heads is in the building, and I don't know what to say. This is what I will start off saying. This is one of the more impressive hip hop albums I have ever heard. And I'm not just trying to be, tongue in cheek here, just, spur of the moment or prisoner of the moment, excuse me. You think about 30 years into a career, you think about the versatility this album showed, you think about the production job by Hit Boy. We're going to talk about that too. We're going to break down this show in a lot of different sections. But I think first things first, let's talk about the album. And I know a lot of y'all was listening to the album with Coop and myself. And shout out to 007 out there who came with the commentary after, the album was completed. Know a lot of y'all listened to it with us last night. What were your thoughts on the album, Coop? I mean, what were some of your favorite songs on there? Give me like three standouts and why.
Oh, well, Mike, that's not enough because this album's a classic. But if you want to go to personal favorites, like there's classic shit and then there's personal favorites. Got a lot of notes, Mike.
Okay.
Man,
Hella notes.
oh
Yes,
yeah, yeah.
Coop is
There are
smoking a
notes for
cigar
favorites.
today
I
because
got,
this is a
I
special
got,
occasion. We
I
popping
got, I
champagne.
got, I got old school and like didn't use the iPad at all last night, and I just kind of kept it going because I had so much stuff everywhere. Hold on, that's
It
backwards.
was written.
All right.
007 with the super chat says, Peace Kings, the crown has returned. Nas is the GOAT. I mean,
He is
the crown.
so.
Well, that's what we can start off with. Nas is the greatest MC of all time. It's just hands down at this point. Everybody can have their individual preferences, but it's going to be very
Okay.
difficult to make an argument against that notion.
No, no, no. That's over too. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll
Mike, for
talk.
me personally, if you were to ask me to pick three right now, I'm picking Michael and Quincy, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm picking Beef. And that third record, I got to decide between Legit, Fun, 30, Recession Proof. I don't know. WTA for SMH. Yeah, WTF
I figured you
SMH,
were going to go there.
Beef, and Mike and Quincy. That's where I'm going right now.
I feel that. But you know what? My personal favorites, I'm going to say Michael and Quincy. I like Hood to Hood a lot. But I think I might have to say Reminisce and Get Light. I really
Oh,
love those records.
okay, so can I tell you something? I'm not surprised from knowing you, pretty much 20 years now, Mike, that those are your records. Those are the type of records that you always love. I think our taste meets in the middle of a record like Mike and Quincy because you and I just love Mike. I can't see you by the way either. I
Okay.
love
I think
you.
I paused out on this
You like
here.
me. You love extremely great and rare and beautiful stuff. That's what the record Mike and Quincy is. And the whole Get Light and Reminisce is right up your Tribe Called Quest. Q-Tip loving Alleyway and stuff like Beef is up my conceptual, highly intelligent. That's my speaker going off. Sorry.
Okay, no,
Down.
no, you're good. Just making sure that you didn't go off. Do you see me
No, no,
now?
no, no, no. That was the speaker going off. I was down here. And Beef is my kind of what I'm saying, conceptual kind of record. And and what's the other one I picked? In WTF SMH. I love the concepts
I was
executed,
gonna
Mike.
say
You know what I'm
that
saying?
was a very unexpected, very creative record from a production standpoint. I think we could have really two conversations here about the lyrical execution and the production job that was done here. Let me get to
So where
some
do
of the
we want
super
to
chats
start?
just to see what people are thinking, and then we can get into it.
Can I tell you
Smile,
something right quick?
go ahead.
Last night I told you that I didn't think Get Light was a 10. I just listened to Get Light in the car and I was wrong. Like, that's a 10
It's a
too. This album
very
is full of
nice
10s.
record.
This album's full of 10s.
Uh
So I was
huh.
wrong. I wanted to apologize to you because on the live last night when we was on Station Head, I was like, that might be a 9. You were like, I think it's a 10. I was like, Mike, that's not a 10.
No, y'all
But
were
it's a
fronting
10,
on
Mike.
Reminisce. You and 007. It was funny. And I was like, are y'all sure that's an 8 or 8.5, whatever y'all said?
No, no,
And
I
I
was wrong
played
about
it and
that
I
too,
was
Mike.
like, no.
That's going to be some people's favorite record on the album. And here's what I'll tell you, Mike. It gave me Purple Tape vibes in that sense, and that you're arguing about what your favorite songs are. It's like, well, Mike, you love some glaciers of ice, you know what I'm saying, and some ice cream. You know what I'm saying? I love me some ice water. You know what I'm saying? And some incarcerated scar faces. You feel me?
Scar faces is crazy.
Everybody loves incarcerated scar faces, right?
Smile Away with the super chat says, thank you for last night. KD3 had me dancing. Nothing but real checking in. KD3 go harder than all of them. Yo, did y'all like last night? For the people who attended the station head broadcast, how did y'all feel about that? Should we do some more of those things? Like, you know what I'm saying? Man, I'll tell y'all the story about how I got bumped offline. That shit was crazy. It was crazy. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, listening party was crazy. Thanks for hosting that, fellas. Great way to engage everyone and looking forward to that format in the future. Jay Short says, is it possible 20 years from now the KD legacy will have eclipsed the Illmatic legacy? It is possible. We'll talk about that. Kedro says, Coop so extra with the cigar.
No. It's a couple reasons I'm smoking a cigar.
Mad Max.
First of all, victory, because I called Album of the Year.
You did call Album of the Year. And yes, congratulations to you, sir. You won that one.
Yeah, because
I know we got Conway
cigar. Coming. It's not close and nobody's going to get close, Mike.
Well,
let that go. Coming. I don't care who dropped.
Conway's coming, so
that doesn't, Mike. That does not matter.
Mad Max says, Thun 30 Reminisce. Michael and Quincy are the best joints to me.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're kind of similar to there. I think the other one that really stands out to me as well is Once a Man, Twice a Child. The way he sounds on there, like that's peak level Nasir.
So here's what I tell you. I told you a few things, and here's why I'm smoking my victory cigar. First of all, I said it was going to be Album of the Year, Mike, but I didn't just say it was going to be Album of the Year. I said, no. I said, I think we're in for something special, and that we're going to get a top 50 caliber rap album, a moment of truth caliber rap album, rhyme, production, and message-wise. So I didn't just call Album of the Year. I called how special this was going to be, how special I thought the production was going to be, because I said it's going to be moment of truth level production and lyrics and message-wise, and it is that.
You did.
And also, I'd like to also say that it's Veterans Day, and my uncle and my grandfather, who were both veterans, God rest their soul, on Veterans Day, would sit back together and have a nice little cigar on my grandfather's land. And they're not here, but I'm going to smoke a cigar for those men.
There it is. Yeah, happy Veterans Day to all the vets out there. My grandfathers were veterans as well. Blue Collar Hustler with the super chat says, Coop, I know you saw Rosenberg actually doing his job for once and listening to the album, and you called out everybody yesterday. Excellent job, sir.
Well, can I speak to that?
Sure.
I think, and I don't want to harp on it too heavy because the reviews still need to come out, so we may be circulating back around. So I'm going to hold any potential vitriol, and plus, like, today isn't about that. It's about like celebrating the greatness of this album. But I will say, well, I shouldn't have to do that and behave that way. And like, you know, when Nas says on Represent, somehow the rap game is kind of like the crack game. It's like, well, I pulled a street move essentially yesterday, Mike, and I pulled up on folks. Like, yeah, like, what's up? What's the shit you've been talking on this corner? You know what I'm saying? And what happens is when you're not right with your block, and the cat who is right with the block gonna get behind him. And so all that really happened yesterday is the block got behind me because it's like they know the shit that I'm putting down is solid. And a lot of people been like faking the funk. And even though he came out today and said something, I asked him some legitimate questions. I asked him some very legitimate journalistic questions that have yet to be answered. But he did come out. But I shouldn't have to apply pressure to you to get you to say what's very blatantly obvious about what's been going on the last 2 years. And it's not just him. They all need to be echoing these sentiments. And we'll get to that if we have time, and definitely probably going to wrap back around on it, depending on what these reviews sound like.
Definitely. Thumbs up in the chat, man. We're in here real heavy, and we're going to really break this thing down. Miss LB with the super chat says, great streaming party last night. Great for the culture. And this album is amazing. Yeah, appreciate you coming through last night. Leah M with the super chat as well. We got Peter Parks with the super chat says, once a man, twice a child's like second childhood from Stillmatic, but updated.
It's better to me. It's better to me than Second Childhood, actually. As a song, as a record. Because I think Second Childhood, as much as I like it, that's on the back end of the Primo Nas collabs to me. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
And this is high level stuff right here.
I'm gonna run through these super chats, y'all, so we can go ahead and get to the proceedings and continue to do so. We're gonna get to them, but Nas the GOAT. Who, you know what? You're right. Nas is the GOAT. Nas the GOAT says, not only is Nas the GOAT, but in my opinion, he has been the best rapper alive for the past 2 years. Nas has shown these young rappers that you can have quantity and quality at his age. My favorite is Once a Man, Twice a Child. Very popular one here. 36 Chambers says Leroy Green owes us champagne. I'm sure he does. Ace of Spades, sir.
Take a little Cabernet to go.
Man with the super chat says, everyone gonna be bumping hood to hood. Nas did it again. Yes. Hood to hood's fire. Born King with the super chat says, in my opinion, the 17 songs with no features was him showcasing his GOAT with no debate. He's put himself in the Stevie, Marvin, Bono, Springsteen level. Definitely. Richard's Reason says, haven't listened to an album this much in years. Appreciate all you do, Mike and Coop, for the culture's authenticity. Always stay true. Peace and love. Appreciate y'all as well. 36 Chambers says, I feel like this is better than KD2, Magic, Pray for Paris, and Alfredo. The best hip-hop album in the last decade, perhaps? What are y'all thoughts? Shit,
Can we start right there? Well, that's one of the conversations I feel like we need to have. So, Mike, I feel like we need to have multiple conversations today. And, you know, you are definitely better at moderating situations than I am. And so here's the conversations I think we need to have. We need to talk about where KD3 ranks in Nas's catalog.
Okay.
We need to discuss where Hit Boy ranks as an all-time producer. We need to discuss where KD3 ranks in terms of the last 10 years, 20 years, and all time. And we just need to discuss like the distance between number one and number two in this whole GOAT conversation. And that's whoever you have at number two.
No,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna, and I literally, and this is what I mean when I took notes today, Mike. Almost every song on this album, there's GOAT talk on here. And here's what I mean, there's GOAT talk on here. It's not always about the lyricism. It's like lyrically speaking, there are guys like Pun and Rakim and Thought that you could quote unquote say are more lyrical than Nas. But they don't have this perspective that he shares, Mike. It's the perspective and the angle from which he looks at things while still keeping the lyrical component very much at the forefront that makes him the greatest MC of all time. And it's literally on full display, Mike, on almost every song, and you literally have to pay attention because it's like going on, and he says something that's like, well, who else says that other than Nas that way?
You're right. Kendra McCormick.
Song, Mike, not some songs, like not we can go pick through a track. Mike, I got notes from every song, and I want to run it down.
Okay, we're gonna run it down. Kendra with the super chat says, I'm not rushing to crown anything a classic. It takes time. I'm just happy it's a dope album. I think this one can be called that. Andrew Green with the super chat says, appreciate you guys hosting that streaming party. It was dope. I was like, Mike, speechless. I had my headphones on, looking like Suge on Hustle and Flow when she heard her own vocals for the first time. Yeah, man. It was great experiencing that with everybody else, too. Leah M with the super chat says, I feel you, Mike. I love Get Light. I feel like you can rock to it at a day party on the rooftop. Yeah,
that's
man.
What Mike said.
It made me miss New York. She probably was on the broadcast last night. Nas the GOAT says, now which one is better, KD or the Blueprint series? Now we got a conversation, right?
That's not a conversation either. You want to make that part of the conversation?
We can make that part of the conversation. Eric Terrell with Super Chat says the interlude.
Message.
The interlude going into I'm on Fire is fire. Yes. Man says legit with the heartbeat sample, lyrics on point. Raisinhead says making an album like this 3 decades plus, Nas is in a place musically that we haven't witnessed from an artist at this point in their career. This conversation is bigger than rap. It really is.
It really is. Legit. This is what I've been saying. Mike, on Wednesday, I brought up the whole... Matter of fact, Mike, this cigar My uncle that I was talking about, well, his widow, my aunt, bought this for me for my birthday last year when the whole Mick Jagger thing happened. That's part of why I pulled it out today. This is what I'm saying is it's like, no, like we need to be treating him like the way Charlotte treated Mick Jagger when Mick Jagger just went to the bar and had a beer. It's like the whole city was on fire. Like that's Mick Jagger, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who that is? Like, you know who that is, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's supposed to be like that. And what keeps it from being like that is people that I had to apply pressure to yesterday. That's why the media is still the issue, because it's like, oh, no. It's very, very clear the people are behind it, because look at what the people did yesterday by getting behind me. We literally got people to post this track list that had no plans on doing it. We literally have prominent DJs speaking totally differently today than they've ever spoken about this man in their entire career. So the people still run the shit, and it is the media that is keeping him from getting that Mick Jagger, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye level treatment.
And we got to change that.
Now, we got to change. Period. Point blank.
Shout out to Leroy Green. Leroy Green sent us a $50 super chat, man. This is what Leroy has to say.
Oh, Lord.
I just want to congratulate you guys for a great job holding KD3 down. And if our chat sparked that fire, even a little, then good, because Nas delivered. Okay. We're going to get to the rest of the super chats, but I want you to be able to speak and get some of your breakdowns. If Leroy Green is saying Nas delivered, and for the people who are new to the show, Leroy Green is, we thought he was Memphis Bleak for a long time. You know, we thought he was just posing as a Leroy Green, and he was at the brunch. So, you know.
And let's frame this properly. Leroy is not like a Nas hater by any stretch of the imagination. No. He's just somebody who happens to think that Jay-Z is the greatest MC of all time and not Nas. And that perspective is like welcome. Everybody's like entitled to theirs. I don't think that's correct, but he's entitled to that. And Leroy also offers very like insightful rhetoric like here in our comment section on our Patreon show. One of our most loyal followers. Shout out to Leroy. Leroy was in with us last night getting down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, Leroy is one of our favorites, man. You know, especially when we on the Patreon and he jump in and have a discussion with the rock intros and all that.
No, when I pull up the NoCal, I'm pulling up on Leroy. You know what I mean? That's just the type of dude that I am. I'm like, no. Me and Leroy are gonna go to a bar and kick it, have dinner, meet the fam, like all that good shit.
So, album of the year, or do you want to start there? Do you want to start album of the year? Do you want to start? I guess we should start album of the year.
I think we should start with Hit Boy, actually.
Okay.
I want to start with Hit Boy's all-time placement as a producer. That's actually where I'd like to start this conversation.
Go ahead. So, all right. Where do you place Hit Boy as an all-time producer?
Well, you know, what I really realized yesterday, Mike, is our power is in our people, so I really want to know what people think about this. I have a list of producers, Mike, and as I name them, I want you to tell me if you think that they're better than Hit Boy after this 2-year, 4-album run you just heard.
Plus everything else he's done in his career.
Yeah. No. I have some of that stuff down. I mean, Mike, you want to run down some of his prominent stuff before this right quick? You mind if I do that?
Go ahead, sure.
Niggas in Paris, Trophies, Click, Racks in the Middle, which he got a Grammy for, Carousel and Sicko Mode on Astro World, Goldie in One Train on Long Live ASAP, Backseat Freestyle on Good Kid, Mad City.
I didn't know he made One Train. And
I didn't know that
I remember
either.
him
I
making
didn't know
Goldie.
he made Backseat Freestyle either.
Goldie was my favorite beat from him. I love Goldie.
That's why I bought Goldie up. Goldie was what I thought was his best beat from that time when I was like heard him and got familiar with him.
Right.
So that's some of his more notable stuff. But I'll tell you what, Mike, a lot of his catalog, his more notable stuff is with the really, really popular rap artists like a la Drake and Nicki Minaj, and a lot of work with Beyonce and R&B and pop artists, Mike. And so what I would tell you is that he actually was probably going to go down as more of like an R&B producer who happened to make Niggas in Paris until this run, Mike. But because of this run, it's like you got to start looking at it totally differently. It's like this. Do you think he's better than No ID?
Yes.
Large Professor?
Yes.
Warren G?
Yes.
Bink?
Yes.
David Banner?
Yes.
Polo the Don?
Yes.
Lex Luger?
Yes.
Manny Fresh?
Yeah, I think he is. And that, I'm not saying that very easily. I just think that the versatility of Manny was stifled by the fact that he was just on one label. So yes, if you put Catalog to catalog, yes, I would have to say he's better than Manny Fresh. And I'm a
Okay.
big Manny fan.
Okay, I know. Timberland on some rap shit.
See, I knew we were gonna have this discussion.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about a rap catalog, yes.
Okay.
But
I'm
if
talking
we
rap
want to talk
catalog.
about just a straight up beat maker, I
No,
don't think
I don't
anybody
think he's a
fucks
better
with
beat maker than
Timbaland.
Timberland, but I think he's proven himself to be a better hip hop producer at this
Because the
point.
thing is, part of your production job and being a producer is to be able to meet the artists where they are. And I think when Timbaland does what he does, the artists have to meet him where he is. And I think
Well,
that's why certain people don't sound that great over Timbaland records, but the people who get it and knock it out the park. So for
well,
that, I would have to put him over, Timbaland when it
well,
comes to rap
I'll tell
stuff.
you why I put him over. It's very, very simple. It's like, well, you heard Nas on "You Won't See Me Tonight" and "You Owe Me," right?
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
hear Nas on Hit Boy shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nas the greatest MC of all time, right?
Yeah, he is.
Hit Boy, like right, Hit Boy,
Yeah.
like end of story, right? DJ Quick. That's where it gets thick.
I think the thing is, if we, and I know people are probably gonna curse me out at home or whatnot, but yeah, if we look at the catalog up to this point and the diversity in the catalog, then yeah, I would have to. Now, who's the more talented musician or whatever? That could be Quick, but if we're just putting this onto some, hip hop producer and based on your hip hop work, yeah, I would have to say Hit Boy.
Okay, Eric Sermon and Havoc.
Damn, now we're getting real heavy.
Well, that's where we are essentially.
I think I
I
would
forgot
put
Metro. Hold on. You think he's better than Metro?
shit. Now that I don't know, because I've
Well,
always
you have
thought
to,
Metro
'cause
was
here's
the best in his class.
Because I feel like Metro's a better beat maker, but it's like, well, does Metro have anything like album wise that sounds the level of KD2, Magic, and now this?
Well, see, the people
I
that
don't think so.
Metro
You got to
makes,
show me the albums.
the people that Metro makes albums for is like 21 Savage, and in
The beats be
Metro,
fire, Mike. But I'm saying is, it's
Yeah.
like that classic status matters in production catalogs. It's why it's like the same way that the MCs are held up high is the same way that the artists are held up high. It's like RZA is literally here about his classic album work, not because he was a placement producer.
well, the versatility matters too. You know what I'm saying? And
No, it does.
I've knocked RZA for his versatility or lack thereof because all of his great work comes in the Clan. You know what I mean?
The Clan
But-
is the most versatile hip
But
hop
I was gonna
group
say,
ever.
but there's a lot of versatility within the Clan.
Yeah.
But
I mean, like,
the other part of it is it's not like a lot of longevity though, and I think that could be a knock as well. This is what I will say. When it comes to Hit Boy,
because here's the
and
thing: you
Havoc,
talk about versatility. Hold on, Mike, 1 second. You talk about versatility. Well, it's like, well, he's more versatile than Eric Sermon and Havoc.
he is. I was just about to go there. Yeah,
Okay,
he is.
go ahead.
Now I
sorry.
will say this about Eric, and you and I are gonna do our matchup. Eric has worked with a lot of people.
He
You know
has.
what I'm saying? Now, his versatility as far as like how he's been able to change up his sound throughout periods, with the EPMD stuff to the Redman stuff and to, that whole thing that he was doing with his solo stuff, just like music or whatever, he has versatility. So I think that, I just think from end to end, he has the Redman albums that he's produced.
He's got Muddy Waters, and There Is a Dark
Yeah.
Side, and What the Album.
Def
He's got some
Squad
stuff.
you know what I mean? The
Right.
EPMD albums. So that one may be a little bit closer than we think when it comes to being able to check off all the boxes. But I would have to say he's over Havoc, even though Havoc's made some of my favorite beats.
Me
It'll be a
too.
tough argument to make. You know what I mean? Like 007 and I were we were on the phone earlier, and he brought up the analogy of he would have drafted Melo over LeBron because he liked Melo's game. Melo came out of Syracuse, won a championship freshman year, and he was proving this other guy was coming out of high school. I've said the same thing. Like, I would have drafted Melo, I would have been wrong. But
You niggas
you
was
could
tripping.
be, and I even liked Melo's game earlier more than I like LeBron's game. But after a while, you have to face the reality and say, well, you know what? LeBron's just a better player. And so I think that's the same thing here. As much as I love Havoc, and much as I fell in love with his production, during that Mobb Deep period and some of the stuff he's made outside of that, I just got to, step outside of that and be objective,
Right. And so I think this is where we have it. And so I want you to listen to this. These are the only producers that I think clearly are ahead of Hit Boy at this stage. RZA, DJ Premier. Are you counting?
Mm-hmm.
Q-Tip, Dilla, Ye, Dre. Now, after that, Mike, do you think Pete Rock or DJ Paul are better than Hit Boy?
Two of my favorites, right? I mean, it would be a
They're
tough.
not
I'll tell
favorites.
you who I like. I would rather, Pete Rock and Paul, but what
I'm
Hit
cool
Boy
with
has
that. No, I'm cool with
exhibited,
that because they both have enough work that speaks to that.
yeah,
But here's what I'll tell you: between the two, actually, DJ Paul is the one that has produced greater album work actually over a course of time. How many great albums has Pete Rock produced? Because Hit Boy's just made 4 in a row.
in a 2 year period.
2 years, yeah. How many great albums has Pete Rock produced from beginning to end? Because I don't think it's 4.
I would
And
say
he's
3.
done a lot of stuff to not have made 4.
I would
great.
say 3. I
It's
think
one short.
Mecca and the Soul Brother. I think Main Ingredient, and I think that
Soul Survivor.
Soul Survivor. But
I'm cool with
again,
that.
it's one of those situations where if I play, the record with Deck and Corrupt, it's hard
True
for Hit
Master.
Boy to play a record
True
that'll
Master.
beat that.
Right.
Yeah, True Master. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for Hit Boy to play a record better than Reminisce Over You as well.
Okay, so let's just say we keep Pete Rock and DJ Paul ahead. So Mike, that would leave 8 producers that are ahead of him right now,
He's
and
top
I only
10.
have,
He's top 10.
right, and I only have one more name to submit to you, Marley Marl and Scott LaRock actually too. Is he better than Marley Marl or Scott LaRock?
Those names and Rick Rubin's in that too. It's like it's so unfair to compare because of where the game was.
Right.
But this is the thing about being a producer. And again, I know there's politics involved in it and a lot of politics that people probably aren't even aware of. But you could be a great producer at any age. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like you said, it's not like you have to go out there and keep up an image. If you're able to make great music, you're able to make great music. And you know the music, you have the techniques, you know what you're doing. I think that it's only fair to reserve those type of names to if Hit Boy is still doing this in like 5-10 years at this level. But
so we're taking Marley out of this conversation, is what you're saying. Marley and Scott LaRock are not part of this conversation. Are you saying they're in a different? You're saying that it's like they're like Ty Cobb, Babe Ruth-ish type of like hip hop figures in the sense it's like, oh well, they played in that era and they were clearly the best from that era, but it really doesn't like count in this modern day sphere we're talking. Is that
it's
kind
of like how we do with Melly Mel,
Okay.
Okay. That's how I feel about it. Where it's like,
okay, so we're giving Marley and Scott the male treatment.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, Mike, then I think he's probably number 9, Mike, because it would be, and I'm not saying this necessarily in order, RZA, Preem, Q-Tip, Dilla, Kanye, Dre, Pete Rock, DJ Paul. We've named everybody else. I think, Mike Daz. Is he better than Daz?
Yeah, he is. And I love Daz.
Well, then, yeah, Mike, he would be 9 or 10. Like, because I just named the 8 that are clearly, like, probably ahead of him. And so that would put him at 9, Mike. So that means, like, people have to understand, and this is what's beautiful about hip-hop. Hit Boy wasn't probably even a top 25 hip-hop producer all time 2.5 years ago, Mike. But in 2 years,
know about that. He
not
might
top
have been
25,
top 20.
Mike. No, I looked at the catalog. He wouldn't have made the top 25. He would have been right on the line. But, Mike, in 2 years, Mike, from about, I'd say he was probably somewhere in that 25 to 30 range. He went from about 25 to 30, Mike, to 9. And so, like, he stepped his game up in a major fucking way. You know what I'm saying?
This wasn't an easy task either. Like,
No.
Nas is the greatest MC ever, right? But my knock was always, and I think I've said this on the show before, in our early shows, like right before KD1 came out, I felt like Nas hadn't really been produced since Illmatic. And I think that's why everybody held Illmatic. Well, one of the reasons why Illmatic came together the way it did, because he was actually produced, because the producers on that album were coming off such great albums that they produced, right? And he was a young, talented, just prodigy, and was willing and able to take in all the knowledge they had, so they were able to produce him. Um, Saying all that to say, for Hit Boy to come in and produce the greatest MC ever, and
To
they
this
actually
level,
find that synergy, and they do 4 quality albums in 2 some odd years, that's an incredible feat.
one of the maybe the most incredible thing about it might be the fact that it's like, no, it has arguably got successively better each time. It's
Each
like
time.
KD1 is a really good album, Mike, but I don't think that it's like some sort of all-time great piece of work. I enjoy KD1.
Mm-hmm.
You and I reverence KD1 in the sense it's like, oh shit, he can still make something like that.
Right.
That's phenomenal that he can still make something like that. And so we were more looking at the degree of difficulty than actual the work. But Mike, the work of KD2 and Magic, and now this, oh, ain't no question in this shit.
Well, let me
like
ask you this, and I think we talked about this
sounded.
last night. Is this album, I think, is better than all 3, Magic included, and I
Yes,
think
it
very
is.
highly of Magic.
Better than Magic.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
better.
mind if I get to some of the super chats while we get to that next topic? Or
Yeah,
you
I'm
wanna
about to
keep-
say, I just wanted to. So here's how when you break up this segment, hip hop ascends into top 10 producer territory with KD3 because that's what really just happened. And you see, that's what I'm saying, Mike. I learned yesterday that it's like, oh no, if the people are really behind us and really listen, it's like we control that narrative, and he gets his proper respect that way. The people gotta get behind that narrative. It's like, no, he was probably about 27 on the list in about 4 albums, 27 to 9. It can be done.
It can be done. They put in
And
a
he's
lot of great
producer of
work.
the year, Mike. He's producer of the year. Like, you just heard that shit that I heard. Like, I heard it in my headphones. I heard it live with you and the people. I heard it in the whip. I let my daughter hear some of it on the way to her job. No, Mike, he's producer of the year.
Yeah, I mean, the production job that he's done on KD3 is phenomenal. He took it everywhere when it came to, we always talk about those beat breaks. He was
I don't
able
care
to
how
do
many
that.
beats niggas do this year.
He was able to do the beat breaks, flip the dope samples. He went
Mike,
so many different lanes,
he did
and
everything.
and we're gonna get to this part of it too. Nas was able to catch everything and catch wreck on everything and make it sound comfortable. And we're gonna talk about that. But the fact that Hit Boy was giving him all of this range, I mean, the production job on the album is incredible. What do you think is the best produced song on the album? I know what you're gonna say. Well, what's number 2?
No, what is my number 1? What do you think?
Michael and Quincy is the best produced song on the album.
It is the best produced song on there, Mike. Right. So after that, I think WTF SMH might be second.
Okay, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
At least from a complex standpoint. But you know what? I feel like.
But then I hear Legit, Mike, and just like on some rap shit, when I hear Legit, I'm like, oh, that's a banger. It's like just a straight banger. Just took the 5 heartbeat shit and flipped it. That's crack music, Mike.
Let me get to some of these super chats real quick. Jay Short with the super chat says, I feel for Freddie. 73 wins and no chip. Golden State. Shout out to Golden State. Let's see what we got here. My Mere Thoughts with the $100 super chat, man. Good looking, bro. He says, long live the king, Nas. Appreciate the love. Mike H with the super chat says, Michael and Quincy. WTF, shaking my head. Beef, don't shoot. Better than Magic and KD1. Still can't call it with KD2. Like the album more at every listen. Yeah, I think
the production, Mike. The production. Okay, so here's the thing, and I'll hold on. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go next? You want to? I think maybe because people are talking about where it ranks in the KD catalog. Let's talk about maybe segue into where it ranks in the KD catalog and where it ranks all time in his catalog. This is what I'm trying to explain.
This is where I'm at. KD3 at number 1, Magic at number 2, KD2, and then KD1. It's in that order. In the order
yes, it's in the order that it got delivered to.
Yeah. They're getting better each time.
Right. But here's what I'll tell you. But let me give you the explanation of why. And it's real simple.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever people feel about Magic, and I love Magic, Mike, it doesn't have a real theme to it or a real message. And this is Nas we're talking about. It's really Nas showing you that lyrically he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. The messages uh, on Magic are not as poignant or as prominent as what you would expect from a full length player from him. And that's intentional. And so understand this album has a tone and a message that Magic just doesn't have from the author. And we're going to get to the bars of it because I'm going to go through each song and show you like the difference. Like there's a difference between like that's that great technical New York style of fundamental rapping that everybody loves that he's lauded for. But the guy that's the GOAT is insightful and lyrical at the same time. That's the guy you find on KD3 because it's Nas and it's all the bars, but it's the message too, Mike. The message does matter. And there is a tone and a message to this album still too if you're paying attention. And on the KD2 side, Mike, KD3 is just better produced. Like period and point blank.
But I think even
the beats are better, the styles are better. There's more variety. They take more chances. They succeed at a frightening pace.
I think even his rapping is better, though. You know what I mean? Like, of course, the production's better. And I think I said this on the broadcast last night. They're probably going to kill me in the room, but I think this is a better album than Stillmatic, in my opinion. But again, it's much better produced, and as far as like the relation between this and KD2, I think it's a step up in production, honestly, song structure, and MCing. But see, Magic had to happen. I feel like Magic was real. Now I really hear that Magic was the warm up. You know what I mean? Like, because if it went from KD2 to this, we'd be like, damn, what a jump. You know what I mean? But Magic got us ready for him rapping like this. Because I think KD2 is a dope album. And again, I had it as the runaway album of the year last year until Magic came along and it became a discussion. But it's on some chill shit. This is on some vicious shit.
Right. No, this is what I mean. Like, so how about this? When you're saying it's on some chill shit, that's what I mean. Like KD2, oh, that is the guy that rope-a-dope George Foreman. That's what I mean. Like, he's that Ali on KD2. Like, he's still the greatest ever, but it's not. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this guy on KD3, it's Sonny Liston Ali. It's like, it's the first guy. Mm-hmm. He was faster than everybody, Mike. He was smarter than everybody. His jab, his hands, his foot speed, like everything that he had was supreme. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's that guy. It's like, how did that guy like reoccur? You know what I'm saying? It's like that's why Meet Joe Black is so important, Mike, because it's like, no, he really is like on some Joe Black shit. It's like, no. He sounds like the guy from Live at the Barbecue and Halftime on this album. You understand that? Exactly. This isn't Illmatic Nas. This is Nas, like nasty Nas. Like KD3 is nasty Nas, Mike. That's the part I think people are missing. No, this is the original version of the guy, like before the deal.
You can't listen to, and I'm not trying to pull anything out, but I'm just being honest because we're talking about a rapper that's 30 years in their career nearly, and then you got somebody else who's in their prime. You can't listen to KD3 in 2022 and then listen to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers in 2022 and say that the Mr. Morale rapper is the better rapper.
He's not.
Like, Nas is the better rapper right now in 2022. And that's some crazy shit. That's literally like us saying that Tom Brady is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes right now.
And he's not.
But I'm just saying, if he was only putting up numbers like that, that would be crazy.
He needs to pull it out tonight, but no, play for play.
No, he's not. He's not. No. But it's amazing that he's able to do this and not only dwarf his generation right now, but the current generation.
Well, here's what's going on too. Well, he's not just dwarfing the generation, Mike. He's dwarfing their albums too. Like, here's what happened. I don't want anybody coming up to me talking about that Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is good or is a classic. Like, you hear the difference? You hear what some great hip hop sounds like versus you trying to pass some mid off to me by fluffing it up and spraying some stuff on it and sprinkling some oregano in the bag. That's that mid. That mid. Mike, this is that rapper weed that we got last night. We got rapper weed last night, And that Kendrick shit is some mid, and it puts a lot of people, Mike, people losing points because we heard this album. You understand that? Because it's like, oh no, your album wasn't like that. Let me tell you, you lost points. Black Star lost some points yesterday.
They did.
And not because I don't care, but it's because he blew y'all out the water like with a couple of shots. He blew your whole album out the water with a few shots. This dude has been 30 years in the game, is walking around. It's like he literally did what Guru talked about on Make 'Em Pay. Sometimes I kick some shit off the top of my dome that ends up sounding better than the next man's whole album.
So
he literally just did that.
Since we mentioned Black Star, what do you think about this in relation to cheat codes?
I think everybody's in second place, man.
But I'm saying, do you lower cheat code's score now? I mean, because this is kind of up the ante.
It's probably losing a point. I told you, Mike, everybody losing points. Like not somebody. Everybody, it's like, no, all of y'all just got slid down a point. Did you hear that?
It's going to be interesting to see when the Academy, meaning the Grammy Academy, what they do in, what was that, February of next year, whenever they have the Grammys. Now, if Mr. Morale goes out there and wins a bunch of awards, it's fraudulent.
Man.
They said we got 900 people in the chat.
Rigged. That's a mid, Mike. That's a mid. The real G's don't smoke that. They on that KD3. That's that pack.
They say we got 900 people in the chat. Well, we need everybody to put the thumbs up so we can get more people. And if you ain't subscribed to According to Hip Hop on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you know when we live.
People gonna be mad at me because it's like we about to put some people on Front Street if we have time too.
Let's get it, man. This is a joyous occasion, man. I mean, we got great music.
So what I'm saying is that like, okay, so Pusha T and Freddie don't have album of the year.
Bro, hold on. I said this last night, and I think it was one of the records.
Don't have album of the year.
What record was it that I heard that made me?
I think it was the first one, or the second one, or the third one. This shit was over about 4 records in.
No, it was 30 because it sounded similar to like Let the Smokers Shine the Coupe as far as like how it sounds like an intro, a Grandiosa's intro, and it made me think about It's Almost Dry, and I'm like, man, It's Almost Dry is really looking lackluster now next to something like this. It is not. I love Pusha T, one of my favorite rappers ever, and you know how I feel about Daytona. He needs to stop saying that it's album of the year now. That's done.
Who's my second favorite rapper after Nas, Mike?
I think it's Pusha T, right?
Not even a conversation with these albums.
It's not. He needs to stop calling it album of the year.
Mike. Yeah. Like Mike, ever is in like Nas, Pusha T on Coop's personal playlist.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, not even a conversation. No. It's not even a conversation. Freddie don't have nothing for this either, Mike.
And Freddie was kind of in the lead, right?
Thought ain't got nothing for this but Aquamarine.
Yeah.
Nas got like 9 Aquamarines on here, Mike.
Let me get to the super chats and we're going to get to that because I want to break down some of these songs and see what your notes is about. I'm going to give you the floor. Born King says, Hit Boy submitted himself. He's in the books. Yeah, he is, man. Again, this wasn't some simple effort. This is 4 straight.
They're somewhere smoking Escobar cigars right now, Mike, and celebrating. Yeah, he's a made man right now.
I think they should do it again. Fuck it. Marquez Davis with the super chat says, beef, man. Nas' hook game has just been stupid these last couple years. Always said Big was the most effortless rapper, but Nas is that dude. Go.
First of all, I Gave You Power came out in 1996. That's him singing that hook. His hook game's been nice.
How you like
That's him singing the hook, the shootouts too, Mike. Hook game been nice.
Shootouts are similar to Wild West. Broad daylight, face to face without a vest.
Yeah. You know the episodes, Thugs, Camouflage, and Spectacles. Right. Yeah. Hook game been nice, Mike. They shooting.
Made you look.
Made you look. You a slave to a page in my rhyme book.
I think he's so great.
That's one of those narratives we got to be mindful of when it's like, oh, Nas' hook game been nice these last couple of years. It's like, no, nigga. Hook game was nice from damn near day one. Like take all the Illmatic break loops out and actually make him make hooks on the second album. No. Street dreams are made of these. Niggas push Beamers and 300Es. A drug dealer's destiny is reaching the key. Everybody's looking for something. No, that's him singing that hook. That's his hook game been nice.
What about Stay Scheming? Niggas trying to get at me. That's him.
Give me yours.
Yeah.
Give me, just give me what you can't get back. 4 to 5, but right, that's him. That's him on them hooks, Mike.
AKs and Curtains with a super chat says, once a man, twice a child, hood to hood, and beef are my personal favorites.
It's all types of bangers on here.
Uncle Fran with the super chat says, congratulations, guys. KD3 is an excellent album. Me and Leroy still waiting for the Champagne brand. It's on us. That's what's up. The KD3 is fire. I think he meant to do it like that. Eric Terrell with the super chat says, I'm 51, and this album made me feel like I'm 19. 90s vibes. No skip. I'm on fire. Don't be scared now. Plus, Mike, did you like the M flow on the first song? I didn't even catch that it was an M flow on the first song.
Yes.
We're
gonna talk about his bag. We're gonna talk about the bag again.
Yeah, flows is all over the place. And
here's what I put about the bag that they're in. Hit Boy's in a Santa Claus bag. He got all types of gifts to give out with these beats. His bag is a Santa Claus bag. You know what kind of bag Nas is in? Look up on the wall, Mike. He's in a Biggie bag. Got all types of arrays and flows and styles on here.
You know what it sounded like
flows.
to me?
He's pulling out flows and hearing stuff on the beat that the normal listener's not hearing. Like, what record is that where he just starts speeding up the flow out of nowhere? It's like, no, I didn't even hear him catching the snare like that at first. It took me listening to it about 3 times to even understand what he was doing, like on a technical, rhythmic level. I was like, oh shit, he's just ahead of everybody.
Styling on him. And you know, it almost felt like in a freestyle session or whatever, where it's like a producer just throw a beat at you, see if you can catch it. That's what Hit Boy was doing. Like, we're gonna do a mid tempo. Okay, we're gonna speed it up. Or we're gonna slow it down. Let me see if you can catch this one. Let me see if you can catch this one.
Well, can I tell you something? Yeah. This is what I mean about how he's in his Biggie bag. Well, Mike, he's got some, and I'm not joking. He's got some Eminem flows on here. He's got some Rakim flows on here. Mm-hmm. He's got some fucking Tupac flows on here. He's got some Biggie flows on here. He's got his Nas flow on here. He's got this like rapid fire Midwest flow down now. Like he's got flows on here, like an array of them. In an array. Like and he's literally pulling them out as easily as it sounds when the beat switches is how he pulls the flow out the bag. That's Biggie bag. It's called a Biggie bag.
007 with the super chat says, I played Stillmatic, Magic, Life, what is it? LT, Illmatic, and It Was Written. All are undeniable. 1 and 2. I have KD at 3. His flows, grown man talk, and his overall execution is high level, and it comes only with the experience. The crown stays in Queens. Shout out to Queens out there. Shout out to 007. I'm going to have to agree. I mean, I don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but I feel like at this point, this is probably Nas's 3rd best album, just off the top of my head.
Well, Mike, we are in agreement about something when we normally are not. So can I give you my list of ranking of his albums now,
Sure.
if I were to rank them after today?
Mm-hmm.
And I have listened to this album about 5 times now. Always like to preface that because we are pulling up like the day that the album was released. Yeah. I don't want people to think that this is off last night's listen or even my own personal listen, like have played this album 5 times already now. I think Illmatic and It Was Written are very, very hard to move, Mike. I'll tell you this. I would not be surprised if in history, KD3 found its way ahead of It Was Written about the production job if it holds up the way I think it's going to hold up, because I think it's better produced than It Was Written. I think what really stands out about It Was Written is the fact that it is probably the best MCing one person has ever done on one album. Just straight up and down MCing. There's been nothing like It Was Written lyrically and technically and conceptually speaking for one full album from one MC. With a few breathers in between, Affirmative Action, Live Nigga Rap, Lauren on a hook, Havoc on a hook. I mean, there's a little breakage in there. So I could see KD3 ended up being number 2 over a course of time. But right now I'm with you and with 007. I would have it number 3 after Illmatic and It Was Written. And then I would go Stillmatic. And then I would go Magic. And then I would go Lost Tapes. And then I would go KD2. Life is Good. And Mike, I want you to listen to this. That would put God's Son at number 9. And that's why he's the greatest MC of all time. who in the fuck in their right mind has a ninth album that's Godson that has Made You Look on it? Made You Look is on Godson, and it's probably his ninth best album now. I Am or Distant Relatives or KD1 would come in the 10 slot. Think about what that is saying. Think about what that is saying. When something like I Am that has Nas's Like, New York State of Mind 2, and Hate Me Now on it might not even crack your own top 10 in your own album catalog.
It's insane.
He's the greatest MC of all time.
Yeah,
like that's the evidence right there is the fact that Godson is like somewhere around number 9 in his catalog. Like Godson would be a top 5 rap album for a lot of other top 20 MCs, Mike. Like, you want me to name some of them? Like, how about this? If Jada Kiss, this is what I mean. Some people gonna feel some type of way, but I don't care because it's reality. Mike, if Method Man made something like Godson,
yeah,
Jada Kiss, Mike,
you're right.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're right.
Okay, that might be his 9th best album. 9th.
If Eminem made it, it would be his best
on there, Mike. I Can is one of his biggest singles. He performed I Can at the Grammys. That's on Godson. No. That's about 9 or 10.
You're right.
We having a conversation about who the greatest is? Go show me another nigga's 9th album and then put that Godson on, Mike. Watch what happened to that person's 9th album. Gonna get throwed, Mike. Gonna get throwed off the train.
Well, 007 said he was listening to Lost Tapes today, too. Jermaine Young with the super chat says, KD1 equals I Am. KD2 equals It Was Written. Magic equals Illmatic. KD3 equals Lost Tapes and Stillmatic. Another instant classic from the greatest of all time. You know, I did feel a combination of two going on, and I think I might have predicted that in the show Wednesday. I was like, I expect a combination of KD2 and Magic. Now, I think what exceeded my expectations was really, again, Hit Boy. And I was already big on the job that he did on KD2 and Magic, but he took his production to the next level. I knew where Nas was lyrically after we just heard Magic. Because again, if Magic wasn't in play, I would have been like, what the fuck? But Magic already had me like that. And then the fact that he took that and really has perfected all kinds of flows at this stage in his career. Because usually, this is the thing, and I want to say this, and I'm just going to be perfectly honest. That was always my knock on Nas. As much of a fan as I am of his, I always kind of favored Jay because Jay had the versatile flow that could go on anything effortlessly. You know what I mean? And whenever Nas worked with some of those people that Jay worked with, you could tell that Nas was trying to kind of catch it and wasn't really, you know, Small World like we talk about, right? Or Big Things, not Small World. Big Things. And, you know, the fact that... Small World?
Yeah, Small World.
Small World, yeah, I'm tripping. Anyway, but the fact that he has been able to develop that at this stage where usually the people who had that before get to this stage and lose it is amazing.
Well, here's what I think, and this is what I mean. Go show me the MC where they've made something in the last 10 years of their career that's cracking their top 5 or 10. Like, he just put 3 albums in his top 10 easy in the past 2 years. In his top 10, he was already in the conversation before he dropped these albums. He was already a lot of people's go anyway, like myself included, before this run. What does that mean when he just made 3 of his best 10 albums ever?
It means they're on an incredible run. This is history right here.
Right. It's like, that's what I'm telling you. It's like, no. That guy who beat Sonny Liston, wasn't nobody going to beat that guy. He made a choice and he left. Wasn't nobody about to beat that guy, Mike.
So what you're saying is Nas is the best.
What
you're saying is Nas is the best rapper on the planet right now. Not
like,
just like
that,
all
no, that's
time,
what I'm saying. Like, he's who
now.
Muhammad Ali was against Sonny Liston, like right now in year 30. That's young Ali. He's young Ali right now. He's unbeatable right now. The same way Ali was. Like, wasn't nobody about to beat Ali for the next 4 or 5 years if that whole Vietnam thing doesn't happen. You know that, right? Like, everybody about to get their ass drugged because that's what was happening.
Well, see, maybe that's why we didn't get any features on this. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
And we didn't need any features on this. And the fact that we got 17 songs with just him rhyming and Hit Boy
No,
just throwing beats, and we were entertained the whole time, and there was no gaps, no
think okay.
shortage.
So, and this is what I mean about how this album is special. It's like, well, it's just him, Mike, and the fact that it's comparable and better than these other albums, it just kind of blows these albums kind of out a little bit. Like, nothing against Pray for Paris or Alfredo or even Daytona. But when you hear him go dolo like this at this level, Mike, and you look at the help on those albums, it's like, well, your album's not better.
I
It's
think
like, well, you
what
can't do that. You can't do that.
I think what
Like
hurts.
Mike, is Daytona the same without What Would Meek Do with Ye on it and Hard Piano without Ross? Is
Yeah.
Alfredo the same without Scotty Beam?
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? Is Pray for Paris the same without George Bondo?
Well,
and
we ain't
Allah
even got to
Smith?
go with Pray for Paris. There's a lot of great collaborations on there. So yeah.
Right.
Um.
Right. Astro World, Mike.
Oh yeah.
Look at the help
Another
on Astro
collaborative.
World. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Mike, Victory Lap. Look at all the help on Victory Lap. That's what I'm saying. No. This is different, Mike. It's
This
better
stands
than those
alone.
records because it's just him and it's on par. It's like
It's a lot
in
of
any-
bars. You know,
Well,
he's
I-
given us more verses in the past 2 years than Andre 3000 has given us in his whole career.
I'm gonna stop. You want to know what?
No, I'm just being real, and I'm only saying that, not saying that to disparage. I'm just saying that we put certain people on certain individual lists at a high level, and we gotta appreciate what's going on right here. Now, granted, like I've said on this show before, I think the Outkast as a collective deserves to be top 5 duo group, whatever in hip hop, but as an individual, it's hard to even be able to rank Andre. And you look at the work that somebody like a Nas has done, not only in his own whole career, but in the past 2 years. He has more verses in the past 2 years than Andre has in his whole career. And we can't say quality over quantity in this argument either, because it's all quality.
No, he's crushing everybody. Well, see, here's the thing about it, and this is what I mean about, well, there's a separation. So here's what I want you to understand. Well, if Andre is still somewhere, and this album, and I'm going to get to some of the messages to it. Like, people need to understand the message of this album is Black unity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need to discuss that is the theme of this album. It's not just about like him showing that he's the greatest MC of all time.
And it's right on time, too.
There's the personal pull-off that's invested here with Nas and Hit Boy doing what they just did, but then there's still the message. That's why I told you this is like the new Gang Starr, this is Moment of Truth level, because it's like, no, they're giving you the beats and the rhymes, but they're giving you the message, and the message is Black unity. And to that, I got the message, and so I want to start framing the conversation maybe with Andre a little bit in a more healthy way, because I think sometimes people feel like we're being disparaging to him. Let me say it this way. It's like
He's my favorite
it's not,
rapper growing up. I'm not being disparaged.
mine too. Him and Nas are the reason that I even wanted to rap, Mike.
Right.
Specifically Nas and Andre.
Yeah.
Specifically, those two guys made me want to and believe that I could rap.
Yeah, Dre changed my life, and that's real.
Yeah, he changed my life. Southern Playalistic changed my life.
Yeah.
So did The World Is Yours. The World Is Yours and Southern Playalistic, the album. Like, you have to understand, Mike, that was all at the same time for me as a 13-year-old that was leaving Atlanta and moving to Charlotte. So it's like, that's everything right there.
Right.
But if you think that Andre is top 5 or top 10, well, that's disrespectful to Nas, and you need to understand that. You get what I'm saying? Like, to put Andre so close to Nas with so little of the work to show for it is unfair to the work that Nas has put in. And that's what I mean about
Over 30
reframing
years.
the conversation. Let's not talk about the work that this man did not do. Let's talk about it from a position as like, well, okay, show me the 4-album run in 2 years that Andre has had in the last 30, because Nas has had about 2 or 3 of them now. Like, this isn't the first 4-album run in a brief amount of time, Mike.
Right.
So it's like, no, he's made, like, I think, Mike, if you were to like take about 5 years of his career, like from that, like, I think 98 to like 2002, and then like now take like just those like 6-7 years, Mike, it's like 8 albums. And that's why Andre's not top 5. Andre's not top 5 because he doesn't deserve to be. Andre's not top 5 because people like Nas have put in this incredible amount of work that they've put in. And to sit him next to him on a on like a fun rhyme conversation basis is fun and palatable, but like in an all-time conversation is unfair.
As an
And that's how the
individual.
frame needs to occur.
And see, my position on that too is I think it's unfair to Big Boy as well to act as if Outkast's catalog is Andre's catalog. No, that's Outkast's catalog. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you can't really just sit there and just give him all the credit for the Outkast material. He had a group mate who added a whole lot to that group. Now
Like, think
now
about it.
Nas,
Even when think about it. Even when M is on "Till I Collapse," keep in mind Andre had never made a solo record, and he says Andre from Outkast. When he did, when he did his Rock and Roll Hall of Fame sheet, he said Outkast, and then separated Andre from Outkast and said Andre's name by himself too. People didn't
really,
peep that. Yeah, he gave Andre a shout out separate from Outkast.
I don't
Like his
like that.
and that's what I mean. It's
I
like
don't
that's what
like
I mean about, well, we control some of that, Mike, but we need to start framing it properly and being like, there is no Andre 3000, the solo artist. He does not have a solo album.
it.
Can
Not
we
as a
talk about
rapper.
Big Boy's
Not as a
solo
rapper.
album? And I'm gonna tell you what, too, Mike. People think that we've just been doing this about Nas, and that's just not true. When Big Boy's album dropped, and we've been doing this show, we have blasted local Atlanta radio and media for not promoting that man the way they should. Have we not? On this
Exactly.
show live multiple times. No, we're a proponent and an advocate for those that have contributed to this culture that deserve to have the same respect given back to them on what you would call the back nine of their career, proverbially, so to speak.
Because at the end of the
Even if the
day,
back nine doesn't exist anymore, because Nas is starting to make me think that the back nine don't even exist anymore.
because at the end of the day, people like Nas and Big Boy don't even have to deliver us any music.
No,
Their
they
life is
don't.
good. You know what I mean? They could go off and do whatever they want to. But the fact that they're out here still making the music that they love just out of the love, they need to get that love back and the respect back. It's sickening to me that New York radio ain't supporting Nas to this degree.
Well,
It
here's what,
really
well,
is.
here's what I want to say. We had to put our feet on some people's neck yesterday about that, but one faction in particular did not even respond or budge, and that's the one that you need to monitor. That's why I was saying people need to notice the trail of what's going on and what we're really doing, Mike. And Hot 97, Mike. Hot 97 talked about literally everything involving hip hop on Thursday. And as far as I know today, and we haven't heard one Nas and Hit Boy record come out of that platform. They have yet to post the track list. And so they are part of the problem. And now we can like Mike, the evidence now, because Mike, Mike, I pulled the Omar yesterday. I just pulled up on people with the shotgun. Like, no. I want that. So you're going to give me that today. Like today, you're going to give me that. And they was the only person that was like, no, you're going to have to shoot me. It's like, well, guess what? They shooting.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I think
they're
that's so
the problem.
interesting.
They're part of the problem, big part of the problem.
I think that's so interesting because Hot 97 coins themselves the place where like hip hop lives or something to that degree.
That's some bullshit after yesterday.
You're in New York City. Yeah, you formally are the place where hip hop lived. And you can't really pride yourself. What people got to understand is these institutions, they're just empty houses without people actually giving them that level of credibility. And if
Correct.
the people aren't calling you the place where hip hop is, or the people know you aren't the place where hip hop lives, you just talking. And you just prove that you're not that. And the people are showing you the same thing. Like, dude, what is it where you guys can't go out there and celebrate your own legends, number one, and somebody who's done so much for your radio station throughout his career and done so much for the city and the hip hop scene throughout his career, and you can't even go out there and give props to a piece of work that he did that's dope?
Mike,
now, I saw Rosenberg got on his individual, I guess, Instagram and was talking about, they're taking hip hop to the next level, or they're creating a subgenre, talking about Hit Boy and Nas, but it's like, did you get on air and say that?
Right. And hold on. Why did I have to pull up on you and get you to say that? Everybody knows, like people hit me up today. It's like, look what you made your mans do. It's like everybody knows I'm the one that pushed him and got him to do that, and the people got behind me and made that happen. And it's cool. But here's the thing about it, and you're right, Mike. Here's what I learned yesterday. The credibility of these institutions is only as strong as the people say that it is. And so it's like, if you don't want to be credible and do the credible thing, like nobody said you had to give Nas props yesterday. You have to put up the fucking track list. That's not giving him props.
That's not
literally
newsworthy.
Basic media pub stuff. Right. Nas, who is from Queensbridge, New York, and has dropped multiple classics, is dropping an album. Here's the track list for the album. That's not giving him props. That's doing your job. And the fact that they even refuse to do their job, it's like, well, if you don't want to do your job and this is a credibility type of game. Maybe we need to be letting the people know so we can start stripping the credibility away from you
Exactly.
until you do the right thing.
And the hip hop community in New York specifically, but I would say the hip hop community at large, but New York specifically, y'all should be offended by that. Station shouldn't even be around if you're doing shit like that. I'm
And
sorry.
so understand, this is what I'm saying, Mike. We're based in Atlanta, Georgia. Why ain't somebody in New York been talking to Nas's people the way I have about these things? You feel what I'm saying? That's what I'm telling you. Is like even the whole way that the situation unfolded just let me know how much they didn't really trust the media and kind of wanted to take it back to the roots, because it's like, oh, well, they rather reach out to somebody like me to go deal with the motherfuckers. And I seen yesterday why, because look at what I had to do to get people to be fair. Look at what we as the people had to do to get people to be fair. Mike, this is
The people have spoken.
This is literally the type of shit Dr. King and Malcolm X used to talk about. People think that they're just like black rights people. Like they were just about rights, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is one of those things that's like, oh, we got to still do this shit in 2022 to get the media to hold a Legends track list up on your site.
It's
like not give an honest, not even give a review. Put the track list up. Oh.
And not to mention the role that they're on. It's not like Nas is just out here dropping duds and then it's another Nas album. We can just whatever. No, he's on a roll, and this is a highly anticipated effort as well. And the stuff that, if you go onto Hot 97's Twitter page right now, the stuff that they're actually promoting, it's insulting, man. Come on.
Oh, that's cool. They need to get used to us because, you know, we about to start doing some digital drive-bys and pull-ups on them. You know, like, and here's the thing about it. Here's how shady it gets. I had to check Rosenberg yesterday. Because he actually tried to make it seem like I threatened him yesterday. And I'm gonna tell you what happened, Mike. See, I got to him, and he who angers you controls you. And so, like, I knew I had him like where I wanted him, because the first thing he did, his first response to me was to call me a name like he was a child. He called me a weirdo. That was the first tweet he sent to me, was to call me a weirdo at the end. And so I promptly let him know. I was like, call me a weirdo again. ... I said, I'm not an industry nigga. ... I said, I'm here to take your spot. ... He want to hit me back talking about something. I'm threatening him. I said, nah, fam, I'm not threatening you. I told you not to call me a name anymore. I told you I wasn't an industry guy. And I told him just like this. I said, and I mean that shit. And then I said, oh, I meant what I said about taking your spot. And then I asked him some questions like, well, when you talk about 444, do you bring up reasonable doubt and blueprint? And that's when shit got dark. Yeah, that's when shit got dark, is when I started asking real questions, Mike, and being a real journalist and asking him about his integrity. And that's why that video popped up today, because his integrity got put on the line yesterday, because he knows that he cannot afford to respond to those types of questions, because he know we got evidence of him bloviating every single time that man comes out and never bringing up reasonable doubt in the blueprint. So it's smarter for him today to pull up on his page and save face and say, oh, yeah, they're creating a new... Yeah, you better. Now, who run it now?
Listen, let me do this real quick.
Who run it?
I'm on Hot 97's Twitter. You want to see what they're tweeting about?
Oh, God.
It says, how do you pronounce Adele's name? Do you say Adele or Adele? Okay, whatever. Another story. Some online users.
They so lame, Mike.
Gabrielle Union. Gabrielle Union reacts to Dwayne Wade's tattoo tribute to her. Okay, that's another story. Chris Rock will be performing the first comedian to perform live on Netflix. Then you got a picture of Stefflon Don and Burna Boy. Then we got Joe Boy talks about his new album. Takeoff. Rest in peace to Takeoff. Drake catches heat over the Megan diss on his new song. Celebrities rally around Megan. This is all we got here. This is Jerry Springer says talk show ruined culture.
Jerry Springer got some pub, Michael.
Yeah, Jerry Springer got some pub. Megan Good stuns social media in a sexy strapless dress. That's what they're talking about. This goes back all the way to yesterday. So the album's been out for 24 hours. They've said nothing. They're talking about this shit. Let me get to the super chats real quick.
Yeah, go ahead, take your time. Because we need people to understand like how whack they truly are, like in this moment. Like,
yeah, man, shit's crazy.
Hold on, Mike, and we had to push Power 105. Like we had to push them. They're like, yo, what up? Where it at?
36
Try to
Chambers
go back.
says, no skips on KD3. I honestly felt like a teenager again, hearing something magical for the first time. Not ashamed to say this album almost brought me to tears. This Nas Hit Boy run is special, classic. Mad Max says, I still got magic over this album, but KD3 is the best of the KD series by far. And Once a Man, Twice a Child was the song that disappointed me. The rest was fire. Okay. Uncle Fran with the super chat, he gave $50 too. Your prediction was correct. Said your predictions were correct. Yes, sir. That's to you, Coop, I'm sure. Let's see. I know we got a lot more. Everybody's in the chat. I want y'all to stay engaged, man. We're going to get to it because we got a lot to get to. Non Plus says, damn, look how many heads in here. We need all these people in the stream party. Yeah, we'll have another stream party. When y'all want to have it, let us know.
Actually, Mike, I was actually thinking. Well, we'll work it out. Yeah,
we'll work it out.
Some things.
It was fun. It was fun. Solution says he warned us that he was in rare form. He did warn us. Proper warning.
He said at the end of 4016, Mike. He said, "I told y'all niggas, it's not a game."
Intelligence is scary. With the super chat says, "Man, WTF is going on? What the fuck is going on with Nas and Hit Boy? Another classic." Man, this GOAT debate been over since KD2, but KD3 is just wow. You know what? I'm right there too. I thought the GOAT debate was over with KD2, and it was fully over with Magic with me. But this right here, this is Tom getting that Tampa Bay ring. Actually, I said that about Magic. This is something else.
He referenced that on this album too, Mike.
I know. I think he listens to the show. Or somebody in that camp listens to the show. I don't know, man. A lot of the stuff that you guys address and that we've addressed, he addressed on the album. And I love it. You know what I mean? I love the fact that he addressed Search on the album. I love the fact that he addressed the Pete Rock thing on the album. I love the fact that he addressed that whole beat picker shit on the album. He's never talked about that stuff before.
So do you want to address the album now specifically? Are you ready to go ahead and dig in? Because I don't want to make this about the media.
Okay, today. No. Let's go. Let's talk about the album. I want to talk about the music and some of your notes.
Absolutely. Well, you want to talk about the bar work or just the songs first? Because it's like
I want to go into the bar work, but before you go into the bar work, let me try to get through some of these super chats if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Andre Shashir says, "I think Rosenberg watches y'all's show." He had glowing remarks for KD3. He said Nas and Hit are starting a new genre of music. Let's see. I'm gonna get to it. Let me get through this and go ahead and start talking about the bar work, and I'll just take note and make sure we get people super chat.
No. Go ahead and get to the people because I don't want the super chats because people are commenting like as they go, and I don't want to fall so far behind. We're on another topic.
Yeah, right, KDO with the $50 super chat. Appreciate the love. He says, "I'm on fire. Get light. Michael and Quincy. Beef. Stand out to me. Album of the year, no question. Production on this album was on another stratosphere. Nas delivered every way possible. Keep up the good work, guys. Shout out to my favorite sparring partner, Leroy Green." All day. 36 Chambers with a super chat says, "Hit Boy is able to duplicate the styles of Premier, Alchemist, Timbo, etc. and still keeps his own feeling in the tracks too. He even said on Instagram that people have doubted his versatility. He's a GOAT." Yeah, he put in the work, man. Dumb It Down's in here too. Shout out to Dumb It Down with super chat. He said, "This album is the first time Hit Boy impressed me with the beats. He's not a Manny Fresh level. Please relax." Okay. Got Manny Fresh fans in here. Manny Fresh did put the Cash Money brand and label on his back.
Show me 4 classics. Show me 3 classics.
36 Chambers says, "Over 800 people in here at one moment. This is incredible." I think that we're really behind because we've been over that number for a second right now. Let me get caught up. In these super chats. There has to be a better way to do this. All right. KDO with the super chat says, "Guys, I have a question. A question away from all of this. Rakim, KRS-One, Cool G Rap, Tupac, or Slick Rick, not sure. Big Daddy Kane, Nas admitted in an interview with All Hip Hop as his top influences." Definitely. I think I've always heard that Slick Rick is one of his biggest influences too. Slick Rick's
Stop it.
literally your favorite rapper's favorite rapper.
Literally.
And he also says, who are his greatest influences and what order? I think he's always ran from the Rakim comparison because that was just there. But I can tell that he's heavily Rakim, Cool G Rap, and Slick Rick influenced, if that makes any sense. He has all of those things: the
He's the
storytelling,
he.
the swag, and the vicious rhyme schemes. You know what I mean? And that's what you would have if you put those three guys together.
I think just style wise, because he was just around G Rap so much early on, his style is more G Rap than any of them. But he gets the storytelling from Slick Rick. And here's what I'll tell you. As time has gone on, I realized the Rakim comparison more lies in the fact that the bar work on Illmatic references itself back to Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
Right,
So
right.
people can see the connection and the transition. And obviously the lyrical level is there.
Right.
But I'm going to, and I'm going to tell you what, Mike, because I realized this today. Well, I'm going to show you, like, through the bar work on this album, the difference between Nas and Rakim and Thought.
Okay. Dumb
That
it
does
down.
not, because that's the thing, I think, where people need to understand. It's like, well, no, he's the best lyricist of all time because Thought and Rakim don't have this perspective.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
put a pin in the note in that too. Dumb It Down also says y'all forgot about Mad Lib and Alchemist.
Oh,
Is
I
Hit
did
Boy
forget
better
about
than
Mad Lib and
Alchemist?
Alchemist. I would put Alchemist ahead, which would put Hit Boy at 10. I would put Mad Lib behind.
36 Chambers says KD2 Magic and KD3 in 15 months. That's a run. It really is. You got Half Flight with the super chat says, we should have known this album was going to be great. For Nas and Hit Boy to be comfortable to put out 17 tracks after already establishing themselves with 3 previous efforts, unbelievable. This is a mark that, man, I don't know it's going to be topped, if it's going to be topped. Mad Max of the Super Chat says, Metro changed the style of beats. Coop, Hit Boy on his level, cut it out. Metro is the producer of his era. You got to debate second with Hit Boy has to be compared to Boy Wonder.
Okay,
I
show
felt
me
like
the
that
albums
too.
where
Like,
production-wise, Metro is showing out the way that the Hit Boy just did on KD2, Magic, and 3. Like, show me the 3 albums. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I'm not arguing with you. I probably prefer Metro, like, beat for beat, as a beat maker. Mike, we hold people about the albums that they produce.
You're right.
Show me the album that he's produced where he just did what Hit Boy did on KD3.
That's
Mike,
why we
what I'm
hold
saying.
Dr.
After
Dre
we
so
talk about
high.
Nas's bar work, I want to talk about where KD3 could potentially be all time because it's like that. We haven't ever talked like that about a Metro album.
KDO with the super chat says, shout out to Miss Mo and Leia M, beautiful sisters. Yes, shout out to them. Web Versatility says, oh, well, it's just a super chat. Appreciate the love. Let's see, let me get down here so we can be done. Man, we are in here today, man. Y'all are really, really representing. We got a lot of shit to.
Yay, motherfucking yay.
And Coop got the cigar. Ray Rims is in the building. Shout out to Ray Rims. He said, I've listened to KD3 3 times, morning, noon, and night. Thus far, it gets better each time. I listen to it. Just flat out soul music. Very soulful. Mad Max also says, Coop trying to put Hit Boy in the top 10 all time is crazy. The kids in my era have hit over Lex and them other guys you name. He up there, but relax.
Who said that, Mad Max?
Mad Max.
Okay.
36 Chambers says, people are going to say I'm bugging. Is it too early? Is this really a possible contender for a top 50 hip-hop album all time? I think time will tell that too.
Well, hold on. Let's just go back to the Hit Boy thing before we jump into Nas's bars right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'm trying to say is that even if you don't want to put him in the top 10, well, Mike, he's hovering around that conversation officially now after this. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, this run
it's
is
like
crazy.
When we talk about that high end, like that high end, that Preem, that Dilla, that Q-Tip, that Ye, Dre, it's like after those guys, Mike, oh no, he can be in the conversation for the next set of guys. So it's like Pete Rock, DJ Paul, Havoc, Eric Sermon, Manny Fresh, DJ Quick. No, Metro. No, he can be in. He's in that bag now, Mike. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he was necessarily prominently in that bag before, but after this run, no, he's in that bag. And so, if you want to give him some top 10 credence, you can. It's about preference. Because here's what I tell you: DJ Premier never produced 4 albums in a row like this.
That's fair. JB was here, says you can start on the yearbook now, Mike. Well, you know what? I think we can, and
I like how you're saying Mike.
And no, me and Kobe putting it together, man. And we actually have the yearbook on Amazon right now for 2020 and 2022.
I'm afraid to do the yearbook because Conway about to drop. What if he drops like a top 10-ish album?
Go pick up the yearbook for 2020 and 2021, and we'll work on 2022. I guess at the cutoff date, which would be like December.
Can we make it like December 1st, like for the sake of like just life?
Unless Jay-Z drops, right? Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, RZA didn't just make beats. He orchestrated the greatest hip-hop group of all time. That was his vision, a whole nother level of responsibility. Now, that level of responsibility is high. To actually be able to... to be able to produce a guy like Old Dirty and then 8 other guys as well, it's incredible.
I like how you separate Old Dirty best.
I mean, Old Dirty is... I've heard the stories. I've heard the story. Old Dirty is a one-of-one.
Stories, Mike. Yeah. No, that's true. Well, this is what I said, Mike. I said RZA, Preem, Q-Tip, Dilla, Kanye, and Dre, they're somewhere else. But if you want to put Hit Boy in the next set of producers, you can, and I think that's more than fair.
I would love to see, loved to have seen Kanye produce Old Dirty. That would have been fun to watch.
I'm worried about the behind the scenes. Mike, listen to me very carefully when I say and read between the lines. I'm worried about what would happen behind the scenes. You understand what I'm saying?
Frank Wizard with the super chat says, it's funny how most have had KD1 rated the lowest of all the 4 album runs, yet KD1 still won the Grammy. So many levels to this run by Nas and Hit. Yeah.
It is the Grammy winner of the run, yes.
Yeah. 36 Chambers says...
He's about to win a second one, though. At least he should.
36 Chambers says KD3 is really a classic. A 5 mic. No missteps. I was willing to give it a 5. And like you said earlier, I think a lot of our other stuff might have to go down a little bit. Do you think this is a 5?
Mike, what's the weakest song on here?
It's a good question.
5.
I want to ask the people.
Work, Mike. That's how those real 5s work. You feel me? It's like, well, what's the weakest song on here? It's like, oh, well, shit.
I think the weakest song on here is a bonus. To My Last Breath is the weakest song on here, in my opinion. But other than that, I would say, damn.
Right.
The weakest song on here, I might have to say I'm on Fire. And that's
Think
a good
about
song.
What you just said.
It would be either I'm on Fire or Recession Proof.
5. First of all, it's not Recession Proof. Recession Proof is on Fire.
You like
5.
You like Recession Proof.
5, Mike.
I think that the beat kind of didn't fit with everything else, but that was just my opinion. But it's a good song.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Jermaine Young with the super chat says, King's Disease Trilogy is the 3-peat. Magic is the gold medal in Barcelona. Nas is going to put up a double nickel at Madison Square Garden. 224-23. That's going to be epic. Epic. I'm still getting through all this, Coop. You want to go ahead and start talking about the bar work?
Well, still getting through the super chat?
Yeah, man. 36 Chambers says 900 people in the chat. A2HH spreading the word. Yes.
Right.
I'm still getting through it. I don't want to just be here all day and that's not,
Right.
What we'll do is I'll let you talk and then I'll just kind of, chime in with some of these,
Well, how about this? I'll go to a song and then you can go to a super chat.
Okay, that's cool.
So let's start at the top. This is what I mean. On every point of this album, he offers you some GOAT level shit. On Ghetto Reporter, Mike, this is how, listen to what he's saying. When the culture vultures swooped down, they started exploiting the sound. They drew up contracts for our niggas, Drew Hill to Drew down. Think about what he's saying.
Yeah.
When the culture vultures swoop down, think about the literary devices that people are talking about. See, he's using the culture vulture, but he actually gives it some life. When the culture vulture is in like a vulture is a bird, and what do vultures do? Swoop down. When the culture vultures swoop down and they start exploiting the sound, they drew up contracts for our niggas, Drew Hill to Drew Down. Listen, and I'm praying they set. Listen to what he's saying. And I'm praying they set. Most artists don't live like execs. Scarred by A&Rs, the music be changing.
And see, even with the whole
Drew, talks like that, Mike. What other high-level lyricists talk like that?
Even with the whole Drew Hill to Drew Down, it's like, you got the hill, the peaks and valleys, right?
Drew Hill to Drew Down, literary devices, right?
Literary devices. Miss LB with the super chat says, Nas let everybody drop, and then he came through and stomping everybody. I'm loving this fire.
Right. Mike, so that's just Ghetto Reporter. So he starts off the album giving you, and that's what I mean. This is still a Black empowerment and Black unity album theme and message. It's very like it's very carefully woven and quoted. You know what I'm saying? So that's just Ghetto Reporter. Mm-hmm. On legit, Mike, this is what I'm saying. Whatever the case may be, I'm out of space, OD. NASA without the A at the end, take off on 3. What's the cost of a CD when 1,500 plays is one cell? What's that to 1,500 P's on one scale? Who the fuck else talking like this, Mike?
Bar work, man.
Who else talking like this? If you'll show me the other person that talks like this in the history of rap other than him, show him to me now. Mike, I'm talking about we can do this on every song he does this. This is why he's the GOAT. He doesn't just flash, Mike. This is what I'm talking about, where it's like, oh, if you're the greatest, give me evidence. It's like, no, KD3 is evidence. He's giving you evidence on every record that he's the greatest MC of all time. You want to go to another super chat, or you want me to go to Thun?
Let me go to another super chat, and then I'm going to let you do that. KD3, this is Jay Short, my bad. Shout out to Jay Short. It says, KD3 sound is what Pusha was trying to sound like. Huh. Not very mad at that. Yeah. 36 Chambers, and then I'm going to let you go to the Thun. 36 Chambers says, Jay is about to drop an 8-minute verse with Bad Bunny. Do you have confirmation of that? Did Leroy Green give you confirmation? LP says, this is why I've said that we've been too generous with these 4 and 4.5 ratings. They really 3.5s at best. When stuff like this drops, it puts things into perspective. I think that's
definitely some people getting in the back. Mike, on Thun, see, people are looking at the J line. They're not looking at the play-in before the J line. Okay. Listen to what he's saying. What'd he say? No beef or rivals. They play in ether on title. Brothers can do anything when they decide to. You see the Black empowerment in the message? See what he just said? Listen to what he just saying. No beef or rivals. They play in ether on title. Brothers can do anything when they decide to. Hold on, what'd he say? Sometimes I text, in the Range Rover, dissecting bars from Takeover. Sometimes I text Hova like, nigga, this ain't over. Who's going to be honest with you like that at that top tier other than Face or Pop? You get what I'm saying? It's like, no. Does Black Thought or Rakim talk like that, Mike? You see the difference? Because he lyrically does what they do, but they cannot do that. They cannot offer you that real life perspective of what's really going on inside of them while still like having a positive message about it. Think about how he starts off the message. No beef or rivals. They play in ether on title. Like that's the way a great writer starts off, letting you know his audience. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. No beef or rivals. Playing ether on title. Brothers can do anything when they decide to.
Yeah. He's like, listen, I'll play the record on your platform. It's all love.
Right. In the Range Rover, dissecting bars from Takeover. This go the honesty, Mike. This is that steez that he has that none of the other great lyricists have. Sometimes I text Hova like, nigga, this ain't over.
Born King with a super chat says, what y'all think about him mentioning Primo? I think he's listening to the people is what I think, and I think that, like I said, he responded to everything. And he did it in such an eloquent way. Indy U Jams with the super chat says, as a Nasirian, excuse me, I was about to say Nigerian. Don't do that, as a Nasirian, he says, I'm forever thankful to Hit Boy. The beat transition on Don't Shoot. LP says none of the albums sound the same. They can do another 3 and sound fresh. When Nas dropped Lost Tapes 2 with all those big names, they trashed it. Interesting. John Green with the super chat says Illmatic, It Was Written, KD3, Stillmatic, and Magic. In that order. Nas improving every project in the last 2 years. Hit Boy stepped it up on this album. Classic. I can't disagree with that order. My only gripe might be between Lost Tapes and Magic or something. You know what I mean? But I can't disagree with that top 5 right there. You got some more bars?
Mike, we got bars for days. This is GOAT talk. He's in rare form, like he said. It's not a game. There's GOAT talk everywhere, Mike. On Michael and Quincy, which I think may end up being the seminal record on this album, because it is where his all-time great lyricism and thought and introspective and perspective meets Hit Boy's beat making at its zenith on a multitude of levels, from the sampling, from the beat breaks. Like everything about this record is flawless to me.
Before you say something, I want to say this about that record.
Go ahead.
You know how much of a Michael Jackson fan I am, and
Fiction.
I didn't. When I saw the title, I was like, clearly this was gonna be like about him and Hit Boy or whatever. I expected to hear something way different than what I heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's funny. We automatically think he's Michael and Hit Boy is Quincy, but I think he's Quincy and Hit Boy is Michael.
Fascinating.
Because he's the experienced one. He's the veteran.
Right.
He's the one that lived it, and he's passing it on to the younger guy that he's working with.
Fascinating, Mike. I love that perspective. I hadn't thought about it that way yet. No, I like that. I like that a lot. That makes me want to go listen to the record again and listen to it totally differently.
Yeah. He's talking about the things Quincy grew up doing and shit. And
he is. He's talking about Quincy
from
getting
the
snuck in by Ray Charles and all that. Right.
So he's Quincy. And
you're right. Oh, Mike, you're right. Oh, fascinating. I need to go listen to that again. Listen to what he says on Mike and Quincy. This is where he separates some stuff, Mike. This is the separation moment. Listen to what he says. Jeepers creepers. America's a baby, teething, shitting on itself, crying for its next feeding. As odd as it gets, it's not even a toddler yet. Gang members got nothing on these congressmen.
Yeah, that line stood out.
Like all of that, Mike, think about what he's saying. Jeepers creepers, America's a baby, teething, still shitting on itself, crying for its next feeding. As odd as it gets, it's not even a toddler yet. Gang members got nothing on these congressmen. Who the fuck rapping like that, Mike? You show them to me, Mike. Point them out. I'd love to see them. Who putting it together like that, Mike? Who does that?
It's not a lot of people, man. If anybody.
No, somebody else. Anybody. That's what I mean. No. It's just him talking like that, Mike. Only he talks lyrically that way on that level, Mike. It's insightful. It's metaphorical. It makes you think. You know what I'm saying? It's like all the things, and it's lyrical, and he's riding the beat like flow-wise at an all-time level. It's GOAT talk. You want to go to some more super chats? There's more bars, Mike. Bars in here everywhere.
We got
and Carlos. No damn sleep.
Carlos Gordon with the super chat. Shout out to him. He says, "I'm on Fire" is the best song on KD3. He is resilient. Challenged the blackball theory while also admitting that he knows the powers that be are against him. Yeah. And I said that was one of the weaker songs. I'm saying that because this album is so strong. Vincent Hughes with the super chat says, late as hell, but props for the listening party. This album is what disrespect sounds like. Body after body after body.
Out here killing shit, Mike.
Okay, go to the next bars. I'm going to go through and search for the next super chat.
Mike, on 30. This is superhero material rap status. Premiere album still might happen. I wonder why PR would act like that. The type of behavior that make me give rap right back. Listen, no. That's the part. See, people are looking at him bringing up Primo and Pete Rock. It's the one after that. This is what I mean. This is the GOAT talk. And now I can't tell if all the good I did is being hid with their agenda again.
Yeah.
Mike, who talking like this? Mike, who talking like
this?
There
is an agenda. There's an agenda.
Listen to what he just said. I'm going to say that again. He
acknowledged the agenda.
Right. This is superhero material, rap star status. Premiere album might still happen. I wonder what made Pete Rock act. What would make why Pete Rock would act like that? The type of behavior that make me give rap right back, as in here. You got it, fam. Since you know everything, and now I can't tell if all the good I did is being hid with their agenda again. Mike, this motherfucker is the greatest writer in the history of hip hop. Like the evidence, he gives you evidence on tracks that he's that guy. Evidence. You see how many bars? Like I'm literally just jumping from song to song in order, and there's something on every song. Who do that?
36 Chambers with the super chat says Nas addressed all of the criticism of the past few years on one album. Everything from beat picking to media slander to underappreciation. Yeah. It's real. Like I really truly feel like the conversations that we have with you guys have inspired, just bringing a lot of this to the forefront because obviously he lives this, he knows this has been going on, but the fact that the people know this is going on. Exactly. And the fact that the people know this is going on, it's like, okay, well, I could talk about this and not look crazy. You know what I mean?
No. He know the people are behind him. It's like, no, this is really going on. The people who are his fan base know what's going on. And he's like, oh, they finally see. It's like, yeah. I've been seeing since 96, but it's like, I'd like to welcome everybody else to the party that he's probably been seeing from the jump too.
But this is the thing. We can finally all talk to each other. Like, I think that a lot of people knew these things, but we never had a setting where we can actually discuss these things. BG Method with the super chat says, you know how I know KD3 is special besides what my ears heard last night with the brothers? It's the hate, fear, and nonsense that takes the project with no evidence, Coop. This is a special project. You got more bars, Coop? You got more bars?
Mike, he's the GOAT.
You got more bars?
We got more bars, Mike. Let's go. Mike, I told you I got like 7 pages worth of notes. Mike. Okay. On Hood to Hood, Mike, he just asked one simple question. And this is what I mean about it made me even change the way that I think about framing things with Andre. I've already told you it's like I'm going to change the way that I frame things, like as far as like with Talib and Lupe moving forward and be the bigger person about it because of how they do things like on a whim. Sometimes it can be like even more emotional than me about it. Mike, he said, if we all made niggas, then why is we beefing? And all I want people to do is after he says that line, go listen how he breaks down how the other communities galvanize themselves. If we all made niggas, then why is we beefing? Like when he said that, I was like, I'm gonna leave Kyrie alone and Kanye alone and Lupe alone. I'm gonna leave Talib alone. I was like, I'm gonna leave him alone. I was like, I'm gonna play nice. I was like, I ain't about to take no sucker shit. But
Kyrie and Ye are brothers.
Well, he highlighted right after those bars how Mike highlighting how the Italians get together, how the Latino community gets together in prison. He highlighted a certain community, Mike, that financially may run things on a program and on a radio and TV level to the point that it's like we may not even want to like say which community it is right now because apparently that makes us lose money on YouTube every time we even say that word. But this is what I mean, and people need to understand it's real. Like Mike, we can't say that word. We can't even say like if we even say who they are. That's something that raises the ire and the flag and potentially gets us docked. But Mike, I can run up on here and say nigga all day, and they'll never say a word about it and give us all our money. And so when I am saying that, understand where you're at, it's like, no, I understand where I'm at too. I understand that us talking about Kyrie's situation cost us money on our biggest view last month, I think, because we were just talking honestly. But if I say nigga, I'm not going to get docked. Like, I'm very clear that I'm living in America. You feel me? Like, let me say nigga all I want. Nigga, be like, no, that's not dangerous at all.
Yeah, not to interrupt you or whatever, but we were talking about Michael Jackson and publishing and catalogs and MC Search. I think that was the video that went crazy, but we got docked for whatever reason.
Well, Mike, we were talking about who owns those catalogs, though.
Exactly.
Oh, Mike. So yeah, Well, Mike, there's a certain community that's involved with that too.
But what I was gonna say though is, Kyrie and Ye, I mean, I view them as our brothers, right? I have a problem with the fact that Talib goes out his way to call Ye the N-word that has a Z in it. Like, what are you doing? Again, that's opposite of what, that line you just spit. Like, it's one thing to disagree, and I do I don't, obviously I don't agree with everything that anybody says, but you could disagree and not be out there damn near being the damn watchdog, man. It's
No, and that's what I
crazy.
mean. It's like, well, I'm gonna let up on Kyrie about it because it's just like at the end of the day, Mike. It's like, well, and I want people to understand me when I say this. Is like, oh, Mike, if it was me, it's like, oh, are you anti-Semitic? It's like, how can I be anti-Semitic when I'm a black man and I know that I'm original man and all things derived from me? I was like, I could never be that. I was like, and anybody thinking that is absurd and crazy and hasn't done their history. And then I would give them a history lesson of things that would factually prove that he didn't do that. And that's why I was like, well, is he misinformed? Because it's not a problem for you to say that. It's like, are you anti-Semitic? It's like, no, I'm a black man. And everything, in my opinion, comes from a black man. And I believe that there's factual evidence behind that.
Hmm?
Would you like to hear some of that factual evidence right now? You get what I'm saying? It's like, no. That was how to handle that situation. He ain't handled it that way.
Well,
All right?
maybe again,
but I'm not going to continue to castigate him either.
Like I said, he's a professional basketball player, and maybe he didn't have all of his ducks in a row, but he took in. Let's just say he took in the knowledge possibly, but wasn't able to expound upon it in the great detail on the spot, and like he wanted to, And it's like, because the thing is, you have to be careful in those situations, because if you say one thing that might slightly be off, they'll take that and run with it. You know what I mean?
No, this is what I mean, Mike. This is the nature of the threat. When they ask you if you're anti-Semitic, the immediate response is no.
Yeah.
You feel me? Period, point blank.
No, I feel what you're saying.
I'm a black man, and I feel like the black man is the original man, so all things derive for us. I can't be anti-anything because all things came from me. Would you like to see some evidence?
Our man with the super chat says, peace. Loved the listening session last night. It was a moment. Is KD3 better than Good Kid, Mad City, or My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? If it is, those are three bona fide classics in 3 different decades.
Stop, because I think that's actually where this conversation is going. And that's why I said after we get done with Nas's bars, we need to talk about his all-time greatest placement, because I think specifically we're about to talk about To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Okay. Andrew Green with the super chat. Andrew Green with the super chat says, don't want to be prisoner of the moment, but this has potential to be my favorite Nas album. Dope beats, check. Bar work, check. Concept, check. And like Coop said, timeless themes, check. Nas is checking all the boxes on this one. You got some more bars. You got some more bars, Coop?
There's always bars.
Okay.
Oh, Mike, recession proof. This is why I like, from the Census Bureau, they put up a killer's mural. It's a different world where 30 shot clips occurs. Melon pop like John Fitzgerald with his girl in a drop. If he can get it, anybody could get got. Easy target. See, you never know who watching.
Man. Heavy. Thumbs up in the chat, y'all.
From the Census Bureau, they put up a killer's mural. It's a different world where 30 shot clips occurs. Melon pop like John Fitzgerald with his girl in a drop. JFK, Mike. Melon pop like John Fitzgerald with his girl in a drop. If he can get hit, anybody could get got. Who talking like that, Mike? I'll wait. Who got bar work like this, Mike?
Thumbs up in the chat, man. Coop is spitting bars.
Because a lot of people think you're like, no, because a lot of people have been coming at me. It's like, Coop, don't come off as a fan. It's like, no, nigga, don't come off as somebody that don't pay attention. Who got bars like this?
AKs and Curtains with the super chat says, he popped The Way I Am flow off easy to start the second verse on Ghetto Report.
That's The Way I Am, bro. Yeah.
I said,
he got flows on here. He picked up Tupac's flow on here. I wasn't joking.
Andrew Green says, the thought that his catalog is so dope that I Am is ranked 10th or 11th is insane. Am I that far behind on the super chats?
Shit, Mike, you got to run some super chats down before we get to this more bar work.
Yeah.
We're super behind.
Mad Max with the super
20,
chat.
30 minutes ago.
Yeah, Mad Max with the super chat says KD3 ain't better than Stillmatic. Now y'all sound laced. I'm sorry. Now y'all sound laced. Ether alone makes Stillmatic better than Rewind, You're the Man, Every Ghetto, Intro, One Mic. We'll talk about Stillmatic too, because that's kind of been the topic of conversation. And I'll give my reasons for why I think that I would put it above Stillmatic. Let's
We're
see.
gonna have a conversation about Stillmatic.
Yeah.
Hold on, right quick. Even before you go any further, Stillmatic is Hit Boy's favorite Nas album, and this album has Stillmatic vibes because I feel like Stillmatic was Nas's biggest risk succeed album, and this exceeds that.
Andrew Green with the super chat says Magic and KD3 back to back is like a modern version of Illmatic, and it was written back to back in my opinion. Well, Coop kind of called that.
I did call that.
I
did literally call that. I said, what happened after people didn't buy Illmatic? It was written happened. What did happen when we didn't pick up Magic? KD3 happened, right?
Yeah.
We have certain formulas, Mike.
The Raisin Head with the super chat says, and he said we still get that Primo album. Listen,
said maybe. Said maybe.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, now that KD3 is here, Coop, is KD3 equal or better than Moment of Truth? Would you feel comfortable going track for track on Patreon?
I'm going to tell you what. I believe Moment of Truth is 19 songs.
Is it? Okay.
I believe so. I believe it's 19 records. And I think Moment of Truth is a top 20 rap album. And so I don't know. I can't tell you today that it's Moment of Truth, because Moment of Truth has You Know My Steez, Mike, and Royalty, and Work, and Above the Clouds, and the song Moment of Truth, and JFK to LAX, and Make 'Em Pay.
It's a little bit too new for that, yeah.
And The Militia, and Betrayal with Scarface. It is one of rap's greatest and most brilliant pieces of work, Mike. And the fact that I even think that we're having this conversation, what does that say?
Yeah, says a lot. AKs and Curtains with the super chat says, get Jay off the couch. Hashtag get Jay off the couch. Yeah, Jay, I mean, Jay sitting there with his Grammys, man. He's good. Let's see.
You want to get caught up? You want to get caught up right quick? Let me go to another bar, some more bar work.
Yeah, go to some more bar work. Hold on, I got one more. CJ Kidd says, Nas has been a gun, fetus, prison cell, a fried chicken, and now beef. How would you rank his POV tracks?
It's hard to rank his POV tracks because he's a POV artist. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. His perspective, coupled with his lyricism and his storytelling ability, is what separates him. Rakim and Thought don't have the point of view or storytelling skills, Mike. They just have the lyrical capability. His lyrical capability is on par. Mm-hmm. Point of view and storytelling, it's like he's not just winning, Mike. Mike, do you remember the season where Mike averaged 37 and then he came back and averaged like 35, 8, and 8? Mm-hmm. That's what the fuck just happened. It's like he just averaged 37 one season, which was last year. Like KD2 and Magic, it's like 37 a game. It's like, what do you do for an encore? 35, 8, and 8.
It's impressive, man. Andrew Green with the super chat. Now I'm gonna let you get some more bars. Says, I don't care what other, and it's $20 super chat. I want to acknowledge that. Appreciate the love. Says, I don't care what other 4-album run that people try to stack up against this. Nas and Hit Boy. The difference is that they did it in 2.5 years. High degree of difficulty. I'd even like to hear the outtakes that didn't make the album. Not to mention 2.5 years, but literally 26 to 28 years in his career. I want to be accurate there. That's why I stopped. Go ahead with the bars.
Mike, on Reminisce, I'm just going to keep it short and keep it brief. I didn't have to die for people to call me the great one. Didn't take a couple of albums. People said it from day one. Stop, drop the mic and walk off, because that actually happened. We watched that happen, Mike. Listen to what he's saying. I'm going to say that one more time. I didn't have to die for people to call me the great one. Didn't take a couple albums. People said it from day one. Those are facts, Mike. That's evidence. That's he's providing. That's what I mean. It's like, no, he providing evidence. It's like, no, that happened. We were all there when that happened.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says Hot 97 equals Hove 97. Like you guys didn't know. I've never heard of it in that terms. But I'm gonna say less,
but we're gonna pull up and let some things change.
Eric Terrell with the super chat.
Up. How about that? How about we stop pulling up?
Eric Terrell says, why y'all dissing 3000? Nas made an awesome album. It's not a diss. And he's talking to me, I'm sure. I'm not dissing. I'm putting things in perspective. I'm just saying that shit's not easy to do, to go out there for
No,
Dolo on
look,
17 songs and put in that much bar work in a 2.5 year period.
no,
It's
look,
amazing.
right.
What I'm saying is, in a 2.5 year period, this man put in enough bar work that
Mhm.
exceeds the career of somebody that we call a top 5 or top 10 MC.
That's not fair
That's
to the other
incredible.
guy. We're not talking bad about Andre. We're saying when you put Andre in the stratosphere next to him with all the work he's done, that's unfair.
Yeah.
So we're not going to castigate Andre or make it seem like
Nah,
he's
I could
not
never
fair.
do
Like,
that.
you know what?
You see
And
what
this is
this
what I
hat
want to start
says? I
doing.
could never do that.
Right, right. When it
I'm
comes to
just being
MCing
real.
too often, people have these pound for pound conversations, which are great to have, Mike. But what I'm trying to tell you is that it's not even fair pound for pound to put him in the ring with Nas. His arms are too short. He doesn't have any records. Like, because this is what I mean. It's like if you think Andre's a top 5 MC and then we're being disrespectful, it's like, okay, this is what I mean. Nas is number 1. Andre is number 5. They're having a rap battle. Listen, Mike, we're going to go all the way back. I play The World Is Yours and Take It in Blood. Give me the Andre response records.
Yeah. 007 with the super chat
That's the
says,
problem with putting them in the stratosphere. So
Nope.
we're not being disrespectful. We're saying stop being unfair to a Nas or a Scarface or a
Right.
Ghostface. You
Or
feel what I'm
Ice
saying?
Cube, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
007 with the super chat says, Nas legit got 7 classics. Illmatic, It Was Written. KD3, Stillmatic, Magic, Lost Tapes, KD2. 17 albums including Distant Relatives. The catalog is flawless. Most storied career. And he probably has more rap stories than everybody else too, speaking
Yeah,
of
yeah, the
stories.
stories. It's been over on the stories.
When we
Mike,
were talking about his story catalog, I was like, that's crazy that he has this many stories in comparison to his peers.
he
Eric,
has his greatest hits. Listen, and I'm going to start doing this. The station head kind of taught me something too. It's like, well, I think we found another way to contribute to our culture
mm-hmm.
in a positive way and help these artists. And so I'm about to get like my playlist game heavy on. It's like I'm about to redo my Nas storytelling playlist because I think I put one of those up on Spotify. It's like there's so many things that you can do, but here's what I tell you: he's definitely the only guy that's made 8 or 9 albums that people argue about the classic status of. So it's like I don't know if it's 7, but I'm going to say these albums to you, Mike, and I'm telling you, we got 866 people in here. Half of these albums are classic to almost everybody in here on some sort of shape, form, or fashion. And that's what I mean. Illmatic, It Was Written. KD3, Stillmatic, Magic, Lost Tapes, KD2, Life Is Good, Godson. Those are 9 albums I just named. Like, there are people in here who all feel like at some point these albums are classic on some level. That's why he's the GOAT. It's like there are people that feel like Godson and Life Is Good is a classic. There are people that feel like Magic and Lost Tapes is a classic. I don't think we shouldn't be having an Illmatic or It Was Written conversation ever in life. Ever in life.
Eric Terrell, the super chat says, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Coop, come on, it's music.
No, this is what I'm saying. No, y'all see, no, it's deeper than that. It's not just about music. It's about how they'll treat our black icons as opposed to the white ones. Notice when I've been talking about him, I've been referencing white artists and not black ones. Like I've been making it a point to not try to say Stevie or Prince or Michael or even Janet or Bob Marley. I've been using Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Paul McCartney, Mick Jagger. Understand the game that we're fighting against, fam. So it's like when I'm bringing up Dr. King and Malcolm X, I'm bringing it up that it's like, no. Coretta Scott King has a quote that's in the Dr. King Center that says, you have to fight for freedom in every generation, Mike. I understand what that means now. It's not just about our rights as in terms of racism. It's about freedom, period, with everything when you're black and when you're here, down to the music. So don't tell me that it's too much. I've been pulling up on y'all for 2 years, showing you how the media is slandering our greatest MC.
Kendall Outlaw, says the end of Reminisce. What did you think about the end of Reminisce? Because I have thoughts on it.
What? Go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts. Your thoughts.
I mean, I thought it was dope that they attempted to do that, but I don't think they should have done that, in my opinion. I know a lot of people
So
like...
when you're saying they shouldn't have done that, explain the part that you're, like, explain
I'm
to me
talking
what
about
they
the
should-
drill section. And I think it was impressive.
So you didn't like the drill section. Tell me why.
Listen, I didn't dislike the drill section. I just think that the song was going so beautifully. And again, I'm saying this because this is one of my favorite songs on the album. I heard a term from my guy, Will Corbin. Shout out to him. I forgot what we were listening to, but he said the song sounded overproduced. And I laughed. I was like, I've never heard anybody say that, right? And then when I listened to that Dr. Dre Compton album, I understood what the term overproduced meant, right?
That's what the glove was talking about.
Yeah.
Niggas doing too much with the beats.
Exactly. Overproduced. And I felt like this song was perfect the way it was. They tried something. I thought it was dope. But, I could have went without it.
Okay, so here's what I would tell you.
I didn't knock points, but it's not like,
No, they took a lot of chances on this album, Mike. I mean, we've been talking for almost 2 hours now. If that's the misstep of the album, this album's a classic.
It's not a misstep, by no means.
That's what I'm saying.
But somebody brought it up, and I just wanted to, address it.
How about this? It's like, if you felt like the song was like a 9.5 and that made it a 9, it's like, oh, okay, but don't tell me that the song's not great.
Right.
Right.
Mad Max with the super chat says, I'm here for tuning Rosenberg to a pack he was protecting for years. But NY don't even support radio stations when spinning Nas albums and drill. Let's see. We're going to get to some more. Let's see. Mark Author with the super chat says, do you feel like KD3 pushed Jay-Z to release another album? I think quite possibly. We'll talk about that too. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, how about combining Patreon battles with the streaming parties so people can enjoy the battles while streaming the songs? 2 birds and 1 stone. I was thinking about a way to kind of combine those things and, make sure that we're able to facilitate it and kind of make those Patreons even bigger than what they already are. Let's see.
I was thinking about that too, Mike. I want to figure out
how we can, streamline that.
Yeah,
because we got a lot of people that
Station Head, shout out to the plug. Station Head is something that we can actually, like for us, Mike, because we are according to hip hop and we actually do consider people and consider the culture. It truly is something that we can use to really help support the artist the way that we want, the way that we should. I've even had some talks, and I've been thinking about doing some like pull-up moments, like, you know what I'm saying, to even help. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because it's like, no, we can contribute that way. So let's find a way. If there's a way to link the Patreon to the Station Head together, like, yeah, but I want you and I to have more conversations about what we can do with Station Head, like, you know what I'm saying, to help these releases kind of like galvanize themselves more. And that's the plug kind of putting that in play. You know what I'm saying?
Because that was a great experience.
No, it was like Mike, she's giving me a lot of game. Like she's really fucking smart. Like she's one of those people. It's like, oh, I can tell her IQ high, Mike. She know a little bit of everything to be the age that she's at. Yeah.
Shout out to her, man. Man with the super chat says Nas gave us a little bit of everything on this album. It wasn't just center-driven themes. It was well diverse. Godson did what we already knew. Go. The execution of it all, I think, is the most impressive part of it to me. Craig Smith with the super chat says, he says 17 unassisted top-tier joints at nearly 50 years old. Insane. Dame252, shout out to Dame, says, if you combine the best songs off of all 4 albums, could you make a best double album? You could really make a greatest hits out of the KD series. And you want to add Magic in there? So
let me finish the bars and
get
then
your bars in. Yeah, I just want to kind of catch up on these super chats because we was
go. Yeah. No. I seen that too. That's why I stepped away for a second. I'm like, let me go ahead and let him.
Yeah, it's a lot. And shout out to y'all. We appreciate it. Definitely.
No, we appreciate the love and the support. We do. We appreciate so many people being so deep in this room at an all-time high. This is like a special moment for us. It's been a lot of hard work. Niggas ain't slept.
Right. Mo Better says, how could you guys feel about Shay Noir's new album? Which album? Shay Noir putting in work, man. That's how I feel about Shay Noir's new album that I haven't heard yet. Is it a new one that we haven't heard, or are we talking about the one that was like the unreleased gems?
Yeah, if she's talking about the Gems album, we already
talked about that.
Look here. I mean, not to be funny, but this is what I mean about the importance of the media cycle and how we treat them. It's like, well, we put a lot of shit on the back burner, quite frankly, about Nas, but it's because that's how you're supposed to treat Nas. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, no, I'm trying to show y'all how you're supposed to treat our like icons and our legendary artists. That Mick Jagger bar shit is going to stay with me forever, Mike. It wasn't even the show. Think about how people felt about the show. They were in town to do a show. People felt a certain type of way about him showing up at a bar. It's like, no, we got to start giving people that type of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mike, if Jay pulls up with fly shit, I'm going to give him the same energy.
Of course.
Except for I'm not going to say he's the greatest MC of all time. But if he's making great shit and making great product, I'm like, keep going, and so we can make it a conversation again. That's the feeling that I'm gonna have and the energy I'm gonna give. I'm like, no, fam, keep going, make it a conversation.
We got to talk about that too. Web visibility, says, is Reasonable Doubt or the Blueprint better than KD3? I don't think so. I think Reasonable Doubt is now the Blueprint actually. Interesting conversation because the thing is, the Blueprint has holes, right? And this one really doesn't. But the big moments of the Blueprint is what carries that album and makes it the classic it is. Shout out to my man Ron Vay. Ron VZTV is in the building. He says, just showing y'all some love. Proud of you dudes. KD3 album of the year. It ain't even close. Nas is the GOAT, and it ain't even close. Nas Hit Boy cracked the code. Talking to Ron Vay a whole lot this today too.
Shout out Ron Vay, appreciate you, fam.
CJ
Kid, we appreciate you.
Yes. CJ Kid.
It's up.
CJ Kid with the $20 super chat says, "Nah, Coop, I love you, OG. You're very sharp and inspirational, but the step in the arena to Moment of Truth, 4 straight flawless albums produced." Which agreed, university, despite how you may feel, which is agreed universally universally despite how you may feel. Feelings aren't facts, Coop. LOL.
He using my shit against me? Is that what he's doing? Feelings aren't facts?
This is the thing, man. As much as we love Guru, the rap performances from Nas, it's now if you want to say that the production job on those 4 albums is better than KD3, not KD3, the KD series, that's debatable. But the rhyming from Nas and comparing that with what Guru did, I don't know.
So, Mike, listen to what I'm about to say. Production jobs are comparable, and the rhymes are better. And so what I'll tell you, and here's what I mean, production jobs are comparable. Like, everything that you're saying, primo production-wise, all that shit was proper till last night about midnight, Mike. Things are a little different now. And I'll tell you
Gotta give credit where credit's due.
Do I think this is Moment of Truth? No, because I think on a beat, like if we're just talking production-wise, do I think it's Moment of Truth production-wise? No. But here's why, Mike. I think production-wise, like beat speaking and song sequencing and structure and format, and making beats that fit the MC and bring out the best in the MC, that is part of production and producing an artist. Oh, Moment of Truth is top 10 in that regard.
It is.
Like, it's top 10 in that regard. It's low end theory, chronic, doggy style, Illmatic level in that regard.
It's the best produced DJ Premier album, in my opinion.
Say, he a top 5 hip hop producer, right, Mike?
Right.
That's his best produced album, right? So
it's high level.
Do I think it's Moment of Truth? No. Like, production wise, I don't think like 99% of the shit that I've heard in my life is Moment of Truth, production wise. So if you wanted to go in order of production and say that Moment of Truth, and even if you wanted to say Step Into the Arena was better production wise than anything on here, what I would submit to you is that the next 3 would all go to Hit Boy after Moment of Truth and Step Into the Arena. And what do you say about that? Like KD3, KD2, and Magic, production-wise, would be the next 3 if you were to go Moment of Truth and Step Into the Arena. That would still be 3-2, Mike. And then you can go to KD1. If you know what I mean? It's like, what third album do you have production-wise? You get what I'm saying?
That's a fair point.
Right.
CJ Kid with the super chat says, do it, Coop. Step in the Arena versus KD. Daily Operation versus KD2. Hard to Earn versus Magic. And Moment of Truth versus KD3. Decided in real time. I think we just went through that.
I think I've thought about that because I think the conversation is Gangstar's 4-album run and Eric B. and Rakim's 4-album run.
think that's fair. 36 Chambers with the super chat says the album really doesn't have skips. 17 tracks, never got bored, and wanted features. Yeah, never got bored and wanted features. Nas kept the album engaging with all the way through, no missteps.
Now, Mike, you do understand that we're comparing what just happened to Eric B and Rakim and Gangstar.
It's insane, man.
Nas and Hit Boy just pulled up 2 years ago. Like, hello?
Right.
Hello? It's not like they've been making records together the last 6 or 7 years.
Right. Nah, it's impressive.
Right. So
they
the
did
fact
all
that
this
we're
in a
comparing-
short period of time.
Right. The fact that we're comparing their catalog in about 24, 27 months
Mm-hmm.
to Eric B and Rakim and Gangstar. No,
Insane.
y'all not paying attention to what's going on. That's what I mean when I'm saying, like, we ain't never seen no shit like this before.
We got to enjoy this because this
We
is
need
some
to,
epic
Mike,
shit.
you want to know what this is? People don't understand, and I think they're starting to understand it now. You see Tampa Bay and New England's record?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what Tom Brady and Bill Belichick just did, we're never going to see again.
Right.
I hope you understand that 20 years of winning and going to Super Bowls, like it was like your personal invitation, that
Right.
shit's over. And welcome to reality. So when Nas and Hit Boy go on a run like this, it's like, no, fam, this isn't reality. This is an epic moment where in 2 years they put themselves in Gangstar and Eric B. Rakim territory as a producer and MC combo.
In
Fuck
2.5
you talking about?
years. Insane.
Mike, it's already better than Cool G Rap and DJ Polo's catalog.
It is. J Boogie with the super chat says most artists when in $20 super chat. I want to shout you out for that. Most artists when they go for their for 3 people, never mind the cycle that just happened last night. I'm sorry, he meant 3P. Most artists when they go for 3P, never mind the cycle that just happened last night. To compete, guys have to go and get help. This is amazingly done with no features. Flowers to Nas and Hit Boy. Flowers to y'all for holding us down. Of course.
I want to go to the
All day,
bar
every
work
day.
so we can get to
Go
the
to your
place
bar
we-
work real quick, man. I think it's going to be an ongoing thing with getting to these super chats, but we get into them. Just
That's fine.
bear
Mike,
with us.
on fire. I'm scorching and I never forced it, even when the forces and powers that be went against me. Y'all use that as an excuse. You dudes cannot convince me or trick me out my spot.
Fire.
Who rapping like this? I'm going to say it again. Mike, who talk like this? Who talking like this? I'm
Oh,
scorching
we got
and I never
something
forced
from Ron
it.
Bay
Mike,
real
listen,
quick. Hold on,
I'm
real quick.
scorching and I never forced it.
Hold on, real quick. Ron Bay says that with the super chat says Nas has reached #1 on iTunes. Keep it up. Great work, A2HH. Go ahead, my bad. Thought that was important.
It is important.
Gotta get these
Plug
numbers
let me
and
know that
streams
earlier
up.
too. The plug let me know that earlier. #1 on iTunes. Spotify numbers ain't came back yet. I
Okay.
asked when I finally came out of my slumber. You know what I'm saying? I was
Well,
like,
we
I was
was
like,
on iTunes last night. We was on Apple Music. At least that's what I was running it on.
okay, that's
Yeah.
cool. We got a Spotify account too. We might try to flip it. Something the plug taught me. Spotify actually gets more streams than Apple.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember.
So
you
we got a
saying that.
Spotify account too. So maybe we'll flip it next time we run it, or we'll run it, or we'll do a rerun and we'll flip it and do it on Spotify to up the level of it.
Right.
I'm scorching and I never forced it, even when the forces and powers that be went against me. Y'all use that as an excuse. Y'all dudes cannot convince me or trick me out of my spot. Woo!
That's
I'm
crazy.
on fire.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Who talk like that, Mike?
Yeah.
That's that OG talk, Mike. OG talk. Right. Mike, let's WTF SMH. They go against somebody that look just like them, but when the enemy has government powers, they become cowards. They cut the tough guy shit. They handcuff your kids.
Wow.
Listen to what they say. Listen to what he's saying. They go against somebody that look just like them. That's why I'm saying this is a black empowerment album. They go against somebody that look just like them. When the enemy has government powers, they become cowards. They cut the tough guy shit. They handcuff your kids.
Wow.
Who talking like that, Mike?
Ray
Who
Rim.
talking like that?
No, that's legit.
So
This is
I
just
ain't
the
no
boss.
fan. He's the GOAT. Like, Mike, everything I'm saying is the evidence. Thought don't talk. Mike, do Thought and Rakim talk like this?
I mean, no. I mean, the last Rakim, and to be fair, I don't even want to really bring up Rakim because he didn't put out an album or anything.
Do
But
Thought talk like
Thought
this?
just
Thought's
put out
active.
an
Do Thought
album.
talk like this?
Yeah,
Mike, do
yeah.
Thought and Cole and Kendrick talk like this?
Nah, and Kendrick would be the one you would think would be talking like this.
He just made some mid. That's why he don't count. You giving niggas who make dope shit count right now. He ain't made no dope shit in 5 years, Mike.
Ray Reynolds with
Why
the
are we
super
comparing
chat.
him? Why are we comparing him to a nigga on a 4 great album run when he hasn't made a dope album in 5 years? And he just dropped an album. He hasn't made a good one in 5 years though. So when I say J. Cole and I say Black Thought, I'm talking about the people who are performing. We're talking about the people who are performing right now, Mike, not the people who paid for their spot.
Huh. Ray Reynolds with the super chat says that title/takeover line on Thun brought back my hopes of Jay-Z and Nas album. Educated me on how many cigar talks have they had in their careers. Yeah.
Oh, they gotta talk. They gotta be talking cash. They're Brooklyn and Queens niggas, so they gotta be talking shit to each other on the low.
All the
just
time.
kind of like on some funny shit. Like, hey, like you know, I got you on that though, right?
Yeah,
It's
Nas
like,
is
I
probably
don't
like,
think
yo, man,
you
when you gonna drop an album, man? Like, what's up?
I don't think Nas is the type of guy that would do something like that, but I could see them talking shit to each other. It's like, hey, you know, I faded you on that though, right?
Right.
Danielle,
Danielle
like,
with the
I don't know if
super
you
chat.
faded me, fam, but I hear you. How's your day going? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Danielle
Right.
with the $20 super chat. Appreciate the love. He says, Esco the GOAT, and it ain't up for debate. Detractors give Hit Boy his flowers. Yes. Hit Boy deserves it. Man.
I'm going to go into Don't Shoot right quick at
Go
the
to
end. I'm going to
bars.
skip over some stuff and go into Don't Shoot so you can go into the super chats, and then we can go into the next phase of the conversation, which is some album placement for this album all the time and what we're seeing and what we're forecasting. Mike, on Don't Shoot, this is the last regular song on the album because I told you I don't count bonus tracks. The album ended. This is what I mean. Listen to the bar work, Mike. Your mindset is your vaccine for every disease, illness, affliction, and sneeze. Who the fuck talking like this out here, Mike? Who talking like this?
Bar work, man.
Your mindset is your vaccine for every disease, illness, affliction, and sneeze. Mike, he said we see it like an MRI scan.
Is he lyricist of the year? Yeah. Dacon Cass with the super chat says, "Coop, did you miss a potential Raekwon feature, or was the featureless the right way to go? Did you miss it? Did you miss Raekwon not being on there?"
This is what I want people to really notice about the featureless being featureless. You know how competitive he is now? If you didn't think that this guy was ultra competitive and you think that this shit doesn't matter, Mike, in year 30, he said, I got it. I just need my producer. Show me somebody else built like that. Fuck year 30. Show me somebody else built like that, period, right now, that's going to go give us 16, 17 tracks of straight fire with one producer and no features. I was dying for a Raekwon feature. Didn't miss it one lick. Didn't see where anybody else fit into this project. Totally okay.
What song would you have put Raekwon on though if you would have put him on any?
I definitely would have put him on Thun.
Okay.
That would have been a real block burner to put him on Thun.
I could see that. Ray Realms to the super chat says, Mike, your Michael and Quincy reverse analogy was nasty, bro. Touche. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I heard it again.
No, that was nasty, Mike.
He's the veteran.
It was. He's right. No. Observational and accurate and insightful.
Jay Short with the super chat says, fake praise from Rosenberg that was done under duress. He won't mention KD3 ever again. I'd rather an honest enemy than a fake ally.
Oh, no. See, that's what, no, everybody, this is what I said when I said last week. It's like, well, the media is still the story, even though we've been talking about streams. Follow the trail and watch how people behave as this album drops.
It's going to be interesting to see what the reviews are going to look like because, you know, they're going to have to review this one. This was an official album. So Magic, they kind of used the fact that Magic came out on Christmas Eve and was a surprise album as a cop-out. But this one, it's going to be interesting to see how Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, Hip Hop DX even, how they rate this.
Well,
Not that
here's
they
what'll be.
matter. I just think it's going to be interesting from my vantage point to see,
Oh, hold on. I want to shout out Hip Hop DX. I pulled up on Hip Hop DX and I hadn't seen them put up Magic's playlist. And I was a little upset because I actually follow and respect Hip Hop DX. They're West Coast based in what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled up on them prematurely. You know what I'm saying? And talk my shit. And so the same way that like I'll pull up on Twitter and talk shit up, I will apologize like a man in front of thousands of people and be like, shout out to Hip Hop DX. I'm sorry for pulling up like that. This is a serious issue. I respect and love your publication. Always have. You're one of the few cats who I actually follow because I respect what y'all do and how y'all put it down. Sorry for pulling up like that. It's a serious issue. Mike, I want you to understand something. Had we not applied pressure, Power 105 was not going to post either. So think about this. Power 105 and Hot 97 were not about to post a Nas track list. You telling me media slander is not real?
In New York City.
In New York City, Mike.
Yeah.
And like I said, the plug talking to a nigga from Atlanta that was born in Charlotte. It's like, y'all some New York, LA. Like, I think she from Cali, Nas from New York. It's like, you're talking to an Atlanta publication. Can't trust nobody out here in these streets.
Andrew Green with the super chat says, people really need to give Hit Boy his flowers for his work ethic alone. If you count beat switches, he probably did at least 25 different beats on this album. I never really thought about it in those terms, but you're right. From a creative standpoint, there's a lot of production here. Because Michael and Quincy got like 5 beats in itself.
At least 4.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think with the whole, your mindset is your vaccine for every disease, illness, affliction, and sneeze, we can go into this album's placement.
Okay. Jay Short with the super chat says, what song was it where he said something that like, if your girl don't know the ad-libs? What song was that?
Actually, Mike, that was actually one of the bars that I actually skipped over because I was trying to get somewhere. But
since you mentioned it,
Mike, the first time when you was hitting the gas in the whip with some ass and you never hit and she passed, your real music test to know if she hit into the ad libs, real rap shit. That's what he said. I got that written down. See, that's what I'm saying about how there's bar work everywhere. I think that's on. I didn't even write the record down. I think it's the record after Beef. What's the record after Beef, Mike? I don't even know where my phone is anymore.
The record after Beef is going to be Don't Shoot.
No, it's not Don't Shoot. Then it's the record. It's the record before Beef. First Time.
First Time.
Yes. Okay. The first time when you was hitting the gas in the whip with some ass and you never hit and she passed, your real music test to know if she into the ad libs, real rap shit. Who talking like that?
I love that song too. First time.
I love the fact that he offered that perspective. Think about that, Mike. The first time when you was hitting the gas in the whip with some ass and you never hit and she passed your real music test to know she in the ad libs. Like, Mike, I'm going to tell you what. Most of the women that I've loved have loved some rap shit that I've loved that's made me look at them like, oh, like, hey, motherfucker. It's like, yeah, okay, might be. Like, so when he said that, it's like, no, I felt that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Me and Wifey got together on some Jay-Z quotes. You know what I'm saying? I think I quoted
really?
and she was able to finish Jay-Z's bars from the Pump It Up freestyle or something. You know what I mean? Some obscure shit. So yeah, she knows reasonable doubt back and forth. Politics as usual. Josh.
Right.
Josh Witcher with the super chat says, serious interlude, only players understand that one. You know what? That serious interlude is serious. And I didn't know what to expect when we was in the when we were actually doing the list streaming party last night. I saw interlude there. I was like, okay, well, this is gonna break the kind of energy that's going on. That shit was an actual song.
And it's a great risk.
Yeah.
Because you want to know what? That's what I mean. That's that moment, Mike, the serious interlude. That's that thought, that introspective, and that vulnerability that Thought and Rakim and Cole and Kendrick don't provide you. Like, they provide you with scenes, but they're not real scenes. You feel me? That's a real scene he providing you. Like, you feel that? It's like, no, you done been there. Mike, I can't even front. It's like, I'm that dude. Can I tell you one of the conversations I had with the plug?
What's that?
one of the conversations wasn't even on the rap shit. I was just telling her one day, it's like, oh no, I done had all the bad chicks. It's like, and they could have had more dudes with money, but they chose me because I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when he's talking about being the dude that doesn't have the most money and is getting the baddest chick, it's like, oh, no. I know. I've been that dude my whole life. It's like, it looked like my fucking exes look like a fucking Vegas calendar list out in this bitch, Mike. And motherfuckers be like, how you do that? It's like, oh, motherfucker, I'm cool. I don't need a bunch of money. I don't need to drive a Bentley. You niggas need to drive Bentleys and put on a bunch of chains and shit like that. I don't need to do that shit. I'm cool. I can get the same girl you can get, less bank account, nice car, not a stupid bump. Like, so when he was spitting that shit, I was like, oh no. It's like, I know. It's like, that's some of the story of my life.
Esquire 601, shout out to Esquire in the building. He says, did y'all peep the Tom Brady bar about relating to him for number 7? Is he calling KD3 number 7 classic? Classic number 7, excuse me? If so,
maybe. I never thought of it like that.
He said, if so, I'm not mad at that at all.
So, Mike, you might have been right with the 7 classic thing.
I think he set the tone early in the album to basically say, listen, this album's better than the other 3.
He did. He said it too.
Yeah, he said that straight up on the intro, like, listen.
So let me say something right quick. When I say this is Nas, on Watch Them Niggas on It Was Written, Mike, he has a bar where he says, that's why I hardly kick the bragging rap. I zone to each his own in this ghetto inhabited. Like, he's letting you know, it's like, no. He's like, I don't do that bragging stuff for touting about how dope I am. But I have no game. Women just understand my story. Right. I ain't got no game. Some bitches just understand my story. Right. But this is what he's letting you know. Like, this is the first time he's ever let you know that he really knows who he is. And that's what I mean when it's like, no, that predates the Illmatic guy. That's the guy that's on Live at the Barbecue, Mike. The only really braggadocious rap song this man has ever really made, Mike, is Halftime. And Halftime, and what I'm saying is that you're getting the grown-up version of Halftime Nas, not even Illmatic or It Was Written Nas. Like the real honest guy that knows he's the fucking man early, Mike. He said it. I didn't have to die for people to call me the great one. Didn't take a couple of albums. People said it from day one. That's the guy you're getting on this album. You're getting the day one nigga on this album. Like before Illmatic, you're getting Nasty Nas on this album. Like all the thoughts and the feelings that come with it. Mike, the serious interlude is proof of it. Remember how he talks about running up and writing in his notepad through the situation?
Yep.
That's the guy before the deal, Mike. So this album is actually the perspective of the guy before the deal, but he's got the deal. And he's Nas and he knows it.
And he's lived the life.
And he usually doesn't let you know that he's Nas. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
No, on this album, that's what I mean. It's like, don't tell me he's not competitive. On this album, him and Hit Boy decided to let you know. It's like, you know that's Nas, right?
Right.
Right. It's like, you know that's Nas. You know Nas don't need no features, right, nigga? You know Nas the greatest MC of all time. In year 30, he can take on a whole album out by himself and blow all these niggas out the water who need features. You know that, right? If you didn't know, Mike.
Now you know. Mad Max with the super chat says, Stillmatic is my favorite Nas album too. It Was Written. So I agree with Hit on that. But now I want a Stillmatic versus KD on the Patreon. I think that we might be able to do that to actually expound upon that debate because we may not get to that part of it today. But I think that is an interesting discussion because we got to, I think it's number 3. But if that's where number 4 and 3 are at for a lot of people right now, I say why not?
Well, here's what I'll tell you. And I said this when Stillmatic came out, and I've maintained this for the most part. The first 10 records on Stillmatic are probably his greatest run in sequence of records since Illmatic. Okay? And I only say that because, respectfully, Watch Them Niggas and Nas Is Coming are tracks 5 and 7 on It Was Written.
Correct.
Just respectfully speaking. Not to knock It Was Written, because It Was Written as a whole is still better than Stillmatic to me. But that, Mike, the Stillmatic intro to The Flyest with AZ, that's track 1 to 10, and I still know the sequence. It goes Stillmatic intro, Ether, Got Yourself a Gun, Smoking, You're the Man, Rewind, One Mic, Hold on.
Second Childhood, right?
Second Childhood. I was thinking if it was Destroy and Rebuild or Second Childhood. Second Childhood, Destroy and Rebuild, and then the Flyers.
Yeah.
Mike, let's go to the front half of Stillmatic right quick, just so people understand what time it is. The Stillmatic intro is going to win over Ghetto Reporter, and I don't know if the next 4 songs are going to win. Like, as much as you may like Ether, if you're just on some rap shit, Mike, legit, you feel me?
Right.
Mike, Fun's better than Got Yourself a Gun.
It is.
Mike and Quincy is blowing smoking out the water, Mike.
It is.
30 is giving You're the Man a run for your money.
It is.
It is. So when you're saying that it's not Stillmatic, it's like, oh, hold on, fam. It's like it got Stillmatic actually on the first 5, probably 3-2 on a good day. Like if you pick Stillmatic intro and You're the Man, you're still down 3-2. If you want to go Ether and be up 3-2, it's fine, Mike. But here's what I'll tell you. It's like Hood to Hood's not Rewind. But Mike, after that, Recession Proof isn't one Mike. But then Reminisce, that's better than Second Childhood to me. Serious, Destroy and Rebuild. I'll take Destroy and Rebuild. But Mike, after that, you can take On Fire over the Flyers. Listen to what I'm saying. After that, it's KD3, WTF, SMH. Once a Man, Twice a Child. Beef. Like, you see what I'm saying? It's like the only thing Stillmatic has on the back end after track 10 for KD3 is What Goes Around.
Yeah.
Right. That ain't enough. Because beef, you know what I mean? Like, I think What Goes Around is better than Beef. I think What Goes Around is better than everything on here. But I think that's one of Nas's best moments.
I agree. 100%.
Like, I think that's one of his maybe top 10 moments as an MC. You understand? Like, What Goes Around is like that for me. It's like top 10 MC moments for Nas. Oh, What Goes Around?
Boy Wonder with the super chat says KD1, KD2, KD3 is a 3P and Magic is a gold medal in 92. Only thing comparable to this run. A lot of people are saying that. Is that out there or something? Or is everybody thinking Mike, the same thing?
Can I share this bar from Beef, Mike? Listen to this one. Mike, the devil is a lie. I can confuse a genius. Have them moving real dumb over nothing at my convenience. When empires fall over women, I am the reason. Who talk like that?
King.
Who is talking like that?
Well.
So, Mike, how many times have I said who is talking like that? Well, there's only one guy talking like that, and that is why he's the greatest MC of all time, Mike. That, because don't nobody talk like this. I just gave you evidence across the board on his, like, 16th or 17th album, like 20th album total in year number 30, Mike. He has 17 solo albums. I'm sorry, he has 16 solo albums, Mike. Distant Relatives, The Firm, and QB's Finest. It's 19 albums in.
Yeah. It's incredible.
That's not counting the guest appearances, Mike. So we're talking about a guy that's made 20 albums worth of material. Mike, that's Rolling Stone shit. Yeah. That's Stevie Wonder shit. That's Isley Brothers shit.
Frank Sinatra.
That's Prince shit. Yeah. That's the highest of the high, Mike. That ain't some dude sitting somewhere on the mid-level. That is somebody sitting at the top of music's peak.
He's raising the bar of what a
There's
hip-hop
nobody
artist
in hip-hop like him, Mike. Nobody's like 15 to 20 albums deep sounding like this.
You're right. Miss LB with the super chat says, Radiomatic just started their listening party. Y'all on station here. Okay.
Yeah. No. I heard they were. I saw the plug for that too. I'm gonna try to jump in and support too.
Okay. Cool. Definitely. Let's see. 36 Chambers with the super chat says, the second Mad Max. I'm sorry. I second Mad Max. A Stillmatic and KD versus on Patreon would be crazy. Okay. I personally got KD3. Okay. I do too. I just think it's better.
I feel like that is palatable. I feel like that needs to happen because here's what I think. I do think KD3 and Stillmatic are better than Magic and the Lost Tapes. I do.
Mm-hmm. I do. And we went through that when Magic 3 and 4
respectively. So it's like we can pull up on Patreon and parse that out. I'm cool with that.
Yeah. Let's see. Tyrell Morton says Lost Tapes Hit Boy Edition. Oh my God, that was slap. Yeah. I'm sure they got stuff that didn't get used. Jermaine Johnson with the super chat says, I pray that these young rappers can keep their beefs on wax, mature as men, live to see old age, and become 50-year-old billionaires. Jay Short with the super chat says, KD Lost Tapes is going to be fire, right? We're putting notions out there. You guys must know that there's actually...
People weren't even paying attention. Like, first of all, Mike, you know the plug was in there last night.
I'm pretty sure.
Mike, she made reference to distant relatives 2 coming
I saw
in
that.
our track. Yeah.
That'd be dope. I'm looking
Distant
forward
relatives.
to it.
If Distant Relatives 2 is going to be what we get after the KD series, I can't think of anything better for him because it's like, well, he doesn't have to jump back into that whole, like, this is what I mean. Man, better kill that whole, like, if he makes an album with Primo, be happy he make an album with Primo.
Right.
We know he's not making any beats with Pete Rock. Like, we know that's not happening.
Mad
And
Max
we know
with a
that's not
super
happening.
chat.
Stop asking. Stop asking because there's shit that ain't happening.
Mad Max with the super chat says, I never heard Andre's top 10 in my life until K-Dot and them and that generation came out. He's the most overrated rapper ever. It's not close. At least M has solo LPs. Dang, that's
See,
pretty hard.
there we go. When you go to the solo LP stuff in the songs in the bars, you get what I'm saying. So, Mike, when somebody is like, "Well, Eminem's better than Andre," it's like, "Well, he has more evidence." That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
Pound for pound, I don't believe that, but it's like, well, Eminem has the Marshall Mathers LP in the Eminem show,
and that's why I say that Andre is just not qualified for the conversations. I think that's just the best way to put it. Mad Max,
right? Because he would have to be put behind somebody like Eminem too. You understand that, right?
Exactly.
Right.
I can't really formulate an argument as an individual.
He doesn't have an argument against Eminem,
exactly.
Mike.
That's real. And you know how I feel about Eminem and you know how I feel about Andre. So, I mean, it's just honest.
I love Andre as much as you do, Mike. You're the one that got me turned on Andre, Mike. When we started this show and you would talk about Andre the way you would, Mike, you would literally make me upset. And I would tell you that you need to stop talking that way about him.
You said it's disrespectful. I'm like, not being disrespectful.
And then you kept on asking me. You were like, cool. Like, when we get done with the show, I want you to go show me the 3-verse song with the hook that he's got by himself that makes you feel this way about why he's so great. Or
as an individual. As an individual.
As an individual and solo MC.
As a group
I thought about it. It's like, man, no, Mike, it's like he does. And this is what I mean when I tell people it's like he doesn't have a Quiet Storm or an Incarcerated Scarfaces. It's like, well, most of y'all don't have Raekwon and Prodigy in your top 10. So how you gonna have Andre when he ain't made no Quiet Storm or Incarcerated Scarfaces?
It's fair. And even if we talk about even if we talk about Tribe's career as a group, we at least had moments like Butter where we saw what Phife could do by himself. Shit, we even got with Outkast moments like West Savannah. You got Bonita Applebone. You know what I mean? Like, you got moments where the individuals went out there and showed their solo ability. We don't even have that in the Outkast catalog to even justify.
No, Mike, you are absolutely right.
Yeah.
Man, it's very valid.
It's just what it is, man. You know,
and it's super problematic. It's super problematic. All this nigga had to do was rap, Mike. You know how great he is? All he had to do was rap. It's not like Mike, some people have to try very, very hard to rap.
And, you know, it took me a long time to come to grips with that as an Andre fan. Like, you know, shout out to Chris Keith, man. He used to be the one telling me this all the time. Like, he was like, you say that, he was like, you say that Dre better than Kane? He's like our OG, man. So, you know, he like 10 years older. He's like, you say Andre better than Kane? He's like, man, this man ain't even got no stuff by himself. And I used to say that didn't matter. And then when you start understanding what all it takes as an individual to make a record that entertains everybody from end to end with just you, it does matter. And especially if you're pulling somebody out as an individual. That's why we have group lists and we have individual lists. You can't be on an individual list without individual, actual evidence, basically.
Can I tell you something about when I really stepped off the Andre podium? Like, you know, fame is a fleeting thing, and it's real, real touchy, and it's real, real sketchy, Mike. I'm going to tell you when I stepped off the Andre thing. My cuz actually reminded me one day, because I guess he saw the episode and he was talking about Andre. He said, you ain't wrong for talking about Andre. He was like, nigga, you got more tracks than Andre. You know that, right? I was like...
Somebody told me that.
He was like, yeah, nigga. He's like, you do everything by yourself. He's like, Coop. He was like, you got tons of 3-verse, 16-bar verse and hook shit by yourself. And I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, like I do. I usually go solo dolo when I was doing it, Mike, and like would do 2 and 3 verses in the hook and write the song over and do all this shit by myself. I have more material than Andre 3000. And so I say that to say is like, well, Mike, I'm not considered to be one of the greatest MCs of all time by any means or any stretch of the imagination. And who's to know what his material actually looks like. Who's to say that he wouldn't be another rapper that fell between the cracks that was super talented? Like Mike, both you and I were super talented. The game happened to us. Talent didn't happen to us.
What
Like
I
the
was
game
gonna
changed
say
on
is,
us. When Nas said the A&R thing and being scarred and the music changing, Mike, you and I witnessed the music changing on
yeah.
us and our unwillingness to adapt and stick to our guns. It changed on us in like a year or two, and it was like, oh, okay.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I was in a duo, and the writing process and the creating process, as far as like bar work, it was a lot less heavy lifting than it was when I did it by myself. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that
It's different.
it's just different. And
It's
honestly,
different.
let's just keep it a buck. It's easier to be in a group. It just is. You know what I'm saying? Like you got one verse to do as opposed to writing three. And then when you get to song, let's just say Common, like Water for Chocolate, right? You get to song 5 on an Outkast effort. Dre has 3 verses. You get to song 5 on a true solo effort. We talking about 15 verses now.
Right.
It's different.
You might get, hold on Aquemini, you're going to get 14 verses out of Andre.
Yeah. By song 5, somebody eclipses that. It's just not fair to compare.
It's not. And so here's what I would tell you.
And you can say quality over quantity, but what happens when you have to put in that work? Show me with Biggie, right? Show me where his quantity lacked quality.
Nowhere.
Where's a whack Biggie verse? Is there a whack Biggie verse out there?
Nowhere. No, there's not. Can't find one.
So yeah, maybe we just got to put it in perspective.
I went looking. I didn't find nothing.
Right.
I didn't find nothing when I went looking for that.
Right. Mad Max
you're
with a
not going
super
to find
chat.
nothing when you're looking for that. But here's what you will find, and this is what I mean. Look, and I want to say this carefully when I say this. Andre's career would have went more like Black Thought than Nas's in terms of the solo material and how the solo material sounds. Like Cheat Codes is the first great. Oh no. Black Thought been making solo shit for a few years now. Coincides with our pandemic. He did 3 whole EPs, Mike. Cheat Codes is the first thing notable that he's made as a solo artist, in my opinion. This is his 4th album, technically. Well, he's done 3 EPs, and this is his first real album.
And you're a huge Black Thought fan, too.
Massive Black Thought fan. Walking standard for bars is what I call him. But, Mike, he ain't the standard of the greatest MC of all time. And he's not the greatest standard of like a song maker, a hit maker, or album maker. He's none of those things. And so, although I laud Thought usually finds himself somewhere on the back end of my top 10 or outside of my top 10 about what, Mike? The fact that he have no solo album catalog. And then when he did do a solo album catalog, Cheat Codes is the only thing that I can identify that he made so far as a solo artist where I'm like, well, that's a great piece of work. And Mike, and this is what I'm saying. So Black Thought made Cheat Codes. So let's say you think Cheat Codes is great. Where would Cheat Codes be in this lineup? Listen to what I'm about to do. This is what I mean about he's the GOAT. Where would Cheat Codes be in this lineup? Illmatic, It Was Written, KD3, Stillmatic, Magic, Lost Tapes, KD2, Life is Good, Godson, I Am, Distant Relatives, KD1. Is Cheat Codes better than any of those albums to you?
I would put Cheat Codes around the Life is Good area.
Okay, so that would mean that Black Thought's best effort would fall right at the end of Nas's 8, 9, or 10 best effort.
But this is
that's the story right there. You get what I'm saying? Cheat Codes in Nas's catalog is a back-end top 10 album. And it's like, Mike, to be honest with you, I don't think Cheat Codes is better than Life is Good or Godson. So I would probably have to put it at 10 on a good day.
I slightly disagree with you on the sense where you're talking about Black Thought's solo efforts, because I feel like where he differs from Dre is he does have records like Never Do What They Do. He does have The Next Movement. He does have You Got Me. They're roots records, but if you want to talk about his ability to hold down a song with just him on it, he has proven that he can do that. You know what I mean?
I'm not saying that.
Dre hadn't even done that.
No, I'm saying that is that, no, Thought doing that, what you're talking about is why I have Thought like in that top 10-ish conversation, because it's like, it's not just the Roots catalog. It's the fact that, no, Break You Off is a Thought record. Mm-hmm. What They Do is a Thought record. Hypnotic is a Thought record. Concerto of the Desperado, that's a Thought record. Mm-hmm. No, he got Thought records on Root projects, and it's some of their best stuff. That's why he's top 10. But now put Thought with that Roots catalog and now his solo catalog up against Nas. See the gap?
It's a gap.
It's a gap.
Yeah.
And
Mad Max
that's
to the
Thought
super
we're
chat.
talking about. We're talking that way about Thought, Mike, and Andre never made no solo album.
Yeah.
Like, where's Andre at? It's not top 10, Mike, because Thought's barely top 10. Right.
No, definitely. Mad Max with the super chat says, I'll give Nas Illmatic. It was written in Stillmatic. That's a given. Lost Tapes is a classic tape and Magic. I'll give Nas, I'm going to wait on KD3. It's been a day, and KD2 is not a classic. So even the naysayer, Mad Max, respectfully, sounds like he has 5. He's counted up 5.
Ooh, listen to this. Chuck D just posted something.
What Chuck D talking about?
Critics of rappers picking wrong beats don't matter if you ain't or can't dance. This formed out of dance music, so banging your head against the windshield doesn't always count. That is entirely another category, in my opinion. It's all taste. I enjoy whatever beats Nas or Rakim choose. That's Chuck D talking.
There we go. Chuck D is spoken.
Chuck D
He
is
rapped
spoken.
over some pretty great beats, though.
When Chuck D speak, though, Mike, it's different.
Jay Short with the super chat says,
Chuck D said he don't care about what beats Nas or Rakim rap over. Who are you?
Exactly.
I'm nobody compared to Chuck D in this hip hop sphere, man.
He's talking to Vlad, I'm sure. Jay Short with the super chat says, tomorrow Flex is gonna respond by not playing Nas, to challenge Nas to make a new music. You know, those Flex challenges are hilarious, man. At first it was like, okay, and then now it's just redundant. Now this is the thing. I would hope, and I like Flex, I would hope with all these challenges that he has out there for New York MCs that he would really get behind this KD3 and drop all kind of bombs on all these records. That's what I would hope, you know?
Why is he not? No, the bomb should have already been dropped.
It should have already been dropped. This is about New York.
They didn't drop any bombs, so they dropped the ball.
Come on, Flex. You got to go pick up this KD3. I know you done heard it. I know you done heard about it. Ohio K with the super.
Mike, they hearing now. There's 800 people in this room still, Mike. We've been on here for almost 3 hours, so it's like, no. This is what I'm saying, and I said this. I was like, oh, everybody know who we are now if they didn't know. Like, if they didn't know, they know. And so it's like, well, if you're not going to do the right thing, it's like, just be prepared for us to galvanize the people to ride on your bitch ass. Right.
Ohio
that's really what's going on. Like, no. Like, we got to stop all the weak ass shit that's going on in here. Because here's one of the things that KD3 is talking about. It's talking about us getting together and putting our differences, like, aside.
And you would think people would want to rally behind that message.
Right. And so what the media needs to do is whatever issue they have with Nas, they need to hear the message of this album and give the album the review it deserves. Play the records that deserve to be played. There's plenty of singles and bangers on here to play, Mike. Because I'm going to tell you part of why I feel like they made this album this way too. If this album doesn't get played.
Yeah. And I'm interested, like I said, man. And I know
how can you say, it's like, oh, Nas don't make bangers. It's like, nigga, did you hear KD3?
Exactly.
It's like, because there are bangers, 30, Legit, Fun, Mike and Quincy. What, Mike, The Light? Like, no, these are all bangers, Mike.
Get Light is a straight up banger. There's no way that record shouldn't get played.
Right. No,
in a different era, this is a top record.
If they don't get played, though, Mike, what is that going to say about what I've been saying is the number one main point of all of this? How the media is controlling this narrative and keeping the greatest MC of all time from getting Mick Jagger, Paul McCartney treatment, which is exactly what he deserved. Like, LL started Rock the Bells Radio to make sure that our legends got their flowers. Why would LL have to start Rock the Bells Radio if radio and media was doing their motherfucking job, Mike?
I got a challenge. I challenge Funk Flex and Ebro to play Get Light. Or tell me why that record isn't suitable for your radio format.
No. I want to know. I'm gonna make it. No, we got to make it easy for them because they're gonna get specific and find a reason not to.
I want to hear Ebro's explanation of why that song ain't getting played.
No. They need to find a record on KD3 because there's plenty to choose from. Get behind it and play it and push it. Because if not, Mike, to quote your favorite group, Mike, when I say weak ass, you say weak ass. What? When I say weak ass, you say weak ass.
3-6.
Weak ass. Right. They have no reason, Mike. Everybody's been pulling up in the chat saying what? You checked all the boxes.
All
so
the
you
boxes.
don't have a reason. So
the flow's there, the production's there, the hooks are there, the radio friendliness is there. What else you want?
Musically, Hood Mike, if I do not hear Hood to Hood on the radio soon, Mike, we're gonna kick up all types of motherfucking dust.
Ebro,
that shit sound like to live in Mike, it sounds like the modern version of To Live and Die in LA.
I'm saying this about Ebro specifically because Ebro's a radio guy and very has a huge resume when it comes to radio, and he's always the person to break down why a record is not playing on the radio and what makes a radio record. I would love for him to explain why Get Light is not a radio record. That's what that's all I want. I would like for him to address that, play the record or don't play the record. But if you don't play the record, I would like to know why a record like Get Light is not getting played in New York City. I don't understand. Ohio K with the super chat says, peace and love. Nas definitely fed the buzz with KD3. Definitely.
No, Mike, this is what I mean. When you hear Get Light, this is what I mean when I say this is Nas. What did I tell you about Get Light, Mike? That has a Tribe Called Quest feel to it. That's Queens, 91 Queens. That's what I'm saying. It's like he's giving you the guy before the deal.
It had them living single horns on it.
Right. It's 91. He giving you that 91 Nas. That's what I mean. This is this is like it's nasty Nas style rapping from the OG's perspective. Mm-hmm. It's like he's rapping like nasty Nas, but he's 50 and he's the greatest MC of all time. So the perspective is wild.
Darren Harris with the super chat says, this album is 1998 Jordan shot on Russell. He can hang it up if he wanted to, but that's, of course, not what we want. I mean, the combination of him and Hit Boy is so good right now, and the way that they're gelling at this point and continuously getting better with each effort, I feel like nobody wants them to walk away from this. Jay Short with the super chat says, okay, Coop, what you got against Daily Operation? I'll ask him when he gets back. Let's see. We'll get to some more of these super chats, man. I want to talk about this this Jay-Z thing because everybody keeps asking us about it and want us to talk about it. And the line and the friendly competitive nature that these guys got going on and the gap possibly between number 1 and 2 at this point. I think, does everybody agree that at this point, Nas is at the number 1 spot and Jay is at number 2?
It's not a conversation.
We got another super chat that says Nas is the GOAT, but Hit Boy deserves a Grammy for his producing, especially the way he flipped that 5 Heartbeats joint. Yeah, that's crazy.
Oh, hey, Mike, can I tell you something right quick? You want a little quick feeder right quick?
Yeah,
I'll give you a little feeder right quick. Nas been working with an Illmatic producer, and we know that it's not Pete Rock and it's not Prima, so I'm just gonna leave that right there.
Well, hopefully,
I'm just gonna say less right there, Mike. I know that for a fact. Mike, he's already been in contact with and potentially done some work with a producer from Illmatic. I'm gonna say less right there.
Okay.
It ain't, and we know from the album it ain't Pete Rock, and he's already told you he's already done the joint with Primo, so it's not Preem.
That cancels them out. Darren Harris with the super chat says, still got to wait for Raekwon for the best trilogy. Oh, well, yeah, that's true. If we get only built for Cuban Links 3,
It's got a very valid point. Very valid point. That's the best point and the best comment I heard this show.
Well, this is the thing. Still, 2.5 years, though, is different, man.
Right, because we talking about 95 to 09 to what, 23, 24?
Yeah. It's different. Like, they've made they set the bar very high.
I told you, Mike, they could take the rest from 2022 to 2030. They could take it off and they have a greatest hits for this decade.
Oh, they do?
They do.
They could take the rest of the decade off.
They could take the rest of the decade off if they wanted to. Be like, who ran rap this decade? It's like, well, I don't know who ran the second half, but we know who ran the first half.
AK's the curtains with the $20 super chat. He says, the way he had beef questioning its purpose and cause with, I ain't asked for this power. It's torture. It forced me to see people drain themselves. Some pulled off some horrible deeds. Is mad
Mm-hmm.
introspective. That was one of your favorite records too, right? Because I remember we was playing it last night. You was like, "Yeah, that's the joint from a
How
writer's
about this?
standpoint."
When I mean it's the joint, that was the song that tipped the scale for me of putting KD3 over Stillmatic, and here's why. I was very clear that KD3 is better produced than Stillmatic. And I literally was said on the, I mean, and our show is still up. The station head is still up. Y'all can go and listen and stream it again. I literally said, Mike, it's like right before Beef got played, I was like, but he doesn't have that concept record or that just lyrical manifesto like a Rewind or like a What Goes Around for me to say right now that it's better than Stillmatic. I was like, he ain't hit me with that concept yet, Mike. And then Beef came on and I was like, okay, I think we're done here. It's like, I think we're done.
Right.
I think we're done.
I remember that because we were talking about it before.
Like it literally happened like that. I literally said right before Beef got played, it's like, yeah, I'm like, but where the concept record at to put it over Stillmatic? And then Beef came on and I was like, oh, well, yeah. I'd like to apologize for speaking too soon. Sometimes I talk too much and I be like talking when I should be thinking and just listening to the music. Right.
Because we kept saying last night, it's like, look, we got some more album to go. That was exciting, man. That was cool.
It was. I had a great time.
That, you know what, man? I think that's the future of releases, man. Like, because I've always said, with the CD era gone, and there's no feeling now like it was when you would go to the store, get the CD, unwrap the package, and put the shit in your car while you listening to it with your people or by yourself. And I think last night was the equivalent of everybody opening up that package, after we had the technical difficulties, and listening to a record at the same time in the same setting. You know what I'm saying? And then talking about it after you play it. You know what I mean? It brought that excitement back.
Mike. And I'm gonna tell you what, it's like, no, and you're right. And people have always been like, when I went on my diatribe yesterday, people were like, well, radio and Source and Double, they ain't even prominent like that. It's like, oh yeah, they are, because you guys keep supporting them and follow them and retweet their stuff and post their stuff out and keep them in business. Like y'all keep them in business so they're viable. But what I would tell you, Mike, is that like after today, very serious about maybe just pulling up on Station Head on the random, like when niggas is live doing their show and doing another show and just taking their slot. Like literally pulling up on. Like, no. Because here's the thing with Station Head. Oh, we can play music? It's like, well, how about this? It's like, y'all niggas don't be playing the right music. So how about when you got your slot time, if I'm free, I'll get my slot time together, hit people up on your fucking thread and be like, if you want to hear some real hip hop, you can come follow us over at Station Head. And I'll fucking start doing your show at the same time as my show. You feel me? It's like, oh, nigga, you pull up at 3? Well, I pull up at 3 now. Right.
M Phenomenal with the super chat says,
I told him I was taking his spot. I wasn't joking, Mike. I told him, I was like, I'm not playing with you when I said I'm taking your spot, nigga.
M Phenomenal with the super chat says, legit touched me, man. He had me looking at my past, my present, like who would have thought? Kudos to y'all for pushing the culture. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, legit was hard too. Because I know early on we was talking like, yeah, we knew that the album was official early. Now, I will say this. The intro, I like the intro. But the intro was unassuming. I didn't know what I was about to be in for based on the intro. I just knew it was like, quality Hit Boy and Nas when it came to the
intro's better in the car, Mike.
Okay.
When I listened to it in the car, I listened to it a couple of times in the car. I was like, oh no. And I'm going to tell you what, this is what I mean about how, well, the message in here is clear, but it's so fly that you got to catch it. Well, Mike, how does this album start off? With Richard Pryor talking about niggas getting locked up down south, talking about some justice. He's like, they lock you up real quick. You come down, you won't see justice. You'll see just us. Right. That's how the album starts, Mike. So even the tone of the Black Power message and the unity behind it, he's like, you won't see justice. You'll just see us.
And it's interesting, man, like you said, that's the theme and the tone of this album, but you don't feel that listening to it.
That's why we need to discuss this album's all-time ranking, because, Mike, usually when albums have a Black Power message and you can ride to them from beginning to end, Mike, how many albums you know like that?
Well, I mean, Takes a Nation was the first one that jumped in my mind.
Well, it might be the only one like that, Mike. Welcome to number 2.
I was gonna say Death Certificate popped in my mind too.
Okay, I'm with you on Death Certificate.
Then
I'll wait, Mike. How many
think
rap
about
albums have a pro-black message that you can actually ride to from beginning to end? Like, yo, this shit hard. I love this shit.
Let me get to these super chats real quick. Ray Rams with the super chat says,
Thank you,
Hit Boy has cemented himself as a top 10 producer. This 4-album run changed hip hop. What should he do next? That's the big question, and I guess we haven't really faced that on his side. What do you think is next for both of these MCs? You seem to have an insight on what's next for Nas. What do you think is next for Hit Boy on this?
I think Hit Boy's lane is very, very open right now, and he can do what he wants. He's 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he's still relatively a young man. He's not that far removed from us. He's still a young man. He just got done having one of the greatest rap runs in history with the greatest MC of all time. So his resume is decorated and colored. There is nobody that should not be vying for his attention right now. Like, how about this? If he can give Nas some of Nas's best career work, Mike, everybody needs to be looking at him and treating him differently as a producer moving forward.
Yeah, because a lot of people, let's just be 100% real. All of the producers in the game weren't able to do what he just did for the greatest MC ever.
I think he's probably the only guy from his class of this era like that. And that's what I'm saying, Mike. He's actually showing himself with this work to arguably be the best producer of his era, because what other producer from this era can do this?
Well, I mean, what producer has done that, period, with Nas?
Hold on.
You know what I mean? Like, Large Professor is probably the closest.
Here's how I want to submit it to you and think about this. Do you think if Metro grabbed T.I. or Big Boy for an album, it would sound like this?
I think if Metro grabbed T.I., it would be hard. But you're talking about T.I. and Nas, you know, and I say that respectfully.
No, I mean, Tip is an all-time great MC. Nobody's Nas. Tip is an all-time great MC. But what I'm saying is that if you were to give Metro an all-time great MC from his region, you think you'd be getting some KD2, KD1 magic?
We got to see.
KD3.
Give Metro.
I'm just asking valid questions, because it's like when we talk about this era, you and I go to Metro.
All right, well, let's give Metro Jay-Z. How about that? Let's give Metro Jay-Z.
I'm not opposed to that. I bought up Tip just because I'm a local nigga with it. You know what I'm saying? And Tip is all-time great.
Yeah.
And so, but this is what I mean. See, Tip gets some of the flack that Nas gets, though, about the beats, about the production, about some of the stuff that he says. Some of the ancillary things about T.I., much like with Nas, dominates the media story more than his music.
Facts.
Right?
Yeah.
And so all I'm telling you is that I'm not saying Hit Boy is the best producer of this era. I'm saying Metro need to show that he's not.
Okay.
Because we don't have evidence.
That's fair.
So, right. That's all I'm saying. It's like, no, it was Metro until yesterday.
Tobinet with the super chat says, haven't caught a live in months. Happy y'all are online. Happy y'all are on the up and up. Album of the year. Let's see how the media is going to dismiss this. Again, I hate to keep going back to the media. I'm just really interested, man. Like, I'm interested to see how this can continue to be ignored.
No.
Because what's going to happen is, and what's happening, I don't want to say going to happen, they're discrediting themselves even more. This is why people are gravitating to more independent platforms, because they see the BS. These people got ears. They hear the music, and they saw the timeline that I just went down when it came to Hot 97 and what they're tweeting about. They aren't hip hop.
No, Mike, I don't think you understand. I'm about to start checking up Hot 97's lineup, Power 105's lineup. Like, I'm going to start putting this shit up like when the big boys is going up. That's what I'm saying. It's like I'm literally going to pull up on this shit and strong arm these niggas. It's like, oh, Flex is live, but Flex really don't be playing shit. Come over here to recording the hip hop Death Row East, nigga.
Flex got to play this Nas stuff though, man. I truly believe that Flex wants New York hip hop to win. I don't understand how KD3 isn't getting the support. I don't understand how records like, Get Light aren't getting any support from New York radio. Jay Short with the super chat says, "Is Nas 2000s Millennium Greatest Hits better than other rappers? I think only Ross, Pusha T, and Freddie can compete."
Greatest hits, like from you talking about like from the series?
No, he's talking about like just in the 2000s. Like if we had a greatest hits album from everything that Nas did in the 2000s, I guess he's including all of this. Like who has the best?
You mean 2020 or 2000s, Mike? Because 2000s, it's like Godson and Lost Tapes and Stillmatic gets in. Everybody getting blowed out.
I think Kanye is probably the only matchup for that, but.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. If you wanted to go 20 to 20, how about this? If you wanted to go 2000 to 2020, I think, or to 2000 to now, I think that is officially like a Nas and Kanye conversation.
And that's the thing too. When I heard this album, I was thinking, man, like, I wonder if somebody like Kanye heard this album and was inspired to, I don't want to say take it back, but think about making palatable quality hip hop, songs for an album as opposed to just overloading on experimentation. Because I'm one of the people who are of the mindset that Kanye can make a My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy whenever he wants to.
No, he can't. You can't make albums like that at will, Mike.
He just chooses to do, to take chances.
You cannot make albums like that at will. I do not believe that. I believe Mike.
He's proven time and time again.
Look at the confluence of circumstances leading up to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It didn't just happen. He didn't just decide to make it. No, there's stuff going on.
What do you think happened with Daytona? You don't think he just decided to make that? And he did that with all of the craziness going on. This is a
I feel like there's more craziness going on before My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
It's a lot.
It's a lot going on before My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
Listen, I just hope he gets locked in. And I think right now, with everybody, thinking away about him, this is the perfect time to come with some of your best material. You know what I'm saying?
Mike,
how did Kobe win everybody back?
Everybody need to be coming with their best material. A 50-year-old rapper is the best rapper in the game right now. All of you niggas need to do better.
Hassan Sykes with the super chat says, Biggie be Richie like Lionel is a garbage bar by Big.
You say garbage bar.
Where's the garbage verse? Where's the bad Biggie verse?
You seen the H coupe dipped in 8 classes, diamonds project. Hold on, what do you say? Diamonds project off light, shit flashes, blind your broke asses. Even got rocks on beards and mustaches, rock top fashions. Ain't shit changed except the number on the dot. Oh, ain't shit changed except the number on the dot after the range. Way niggas look at me now, kind of strange. I hate y'all too. Rather be in Caribbean sands with Rachel. It's unreal. Out the blue, Frank White got sex appeal. Bitches used to go, ill, still toast still. Trying to see 5 mil off the single. For real. You ain't phasing the amazing. While your gun's raising, mine is blazing. Say the whole verse, my nigga.
Well, actually, if that's a bad verse.
If that's a bad verse, give it here. I'll take that verse. Like, how about this? Take Biggie's name off the verse. Say Coop wrote it and spit it. I'll take that verse.
Urel with the super chat says, there was a bar where when Nas goes, he don't need to hug award insecurely. And before he released KD3, what Jay unknowingly proved? Is that a shot at the awards being held?
Hold on. I want people to understand this too. When you're saying that, listen to how impactful that bar is to hip hop culture, Mike. You know that verse for My Love of the Dough is where Jay got the 4.0, 4.6 from Imaginary Player from. Ain't shit changed except the number on the dot on the range. So Jay pulls up 4 months later talking about, yo, dog, what's the difference between Mike? What? A 4.0 in a 4.6. No, he got that from Big on I Love the Dono. Tell me that verse ain't fire. It inspired parts of Imaginary Player.
Yeah,
Know your rap history,
Jones.
my G.
Jim Jones has used parts of that too.
Know your rap history. Like the Range Rover shit with the dots, that came from Big first, not Jay.
NDU Jam says, even Hood to Hood is a radio record. It is.
I love Hood to Hood.
I think we're finally getting caught up on the super chat.
He's like, yo, this shit fire.
Yeah.
This shit ride.
We're finally getting caught up on the super chats. Ray Rims
West Coast niggas is playing Hood to Hood right now, Mike. I'm telling you, I ain't even out there, and I know.
Let us know, Jay Short, because he out there. Ray Rims with the super chat, $20 super chat. Appreciate that. He said, respect the mic for reading the super chats. There were like at least 35 minutes behind. Respect the Coop for breaking down the lyrics. When you brothers employ someone, preferably a her style of voice, tell her what you went through. Yeah, we need somebody that's just dedicated on the super chats alone, right?
All jokes aside, like this moment and everything that we just did behind the scenes is one of those things that hopefully is going to help get us there. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting there.
Jay Short with the super chat says, collusion is non-competitive, secret, and sometimes illegal agreements between rivals which attempts to disturb the market's equilibrium. New York radio. Hassan Sykes with the super chat says, where does Beef rank amongst his concept songs?
I mean, Rewind and I Gave You Power are the standard by which concept storytelling songs are judged by. Both of those records belong to him, by the way. So he's the bar for it, even on his own level and measure. I will tell you, this is not Rewind or I Gave You Power level, but it's the next level down. And his next level down is like everybody else's A level pretty much. So I'll say, how about this? It's better than like, I think I still prefer Blaze of 50 slightly. So if we're talking about his stories, you feel me?
Great record.
It's like, so if I was like ranking his stories, it's like, is it The Setup or Rewind or Blaze of 50 or I Gave You Power? No. But as far as modern era and as far as his catalog, probably the next step down. So not his A+ concept game, but his A game. Like not the A+ game. Like he has an A+ game and he has an A game. I Gave You Power, Rewind, Blaze of 50, the set A+. This is just A. Right, but it's an A, Mike. It's an A.
He's the greatest.
He's the greatest, right? It's an A. It's like, how about this? It's better than Small World.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's better than something like Sekou Story. It's better than Sekou Story. It's better than Small World. It's better than those. You know what I'm saying? It's better than Unauthorized Biography of Rakim. Like, it's better than those stories. Like it is. Yeah.
Such an incredible writer. CJ Kidd with
got
the super
stories
chat.
for days. It's better than Undying Love. It's better than Papa Was a Player. You know what I'm saying? So it's high level. It's better than Papa Was a Player.
That's high praise.
Hey, Mike,
CJ Kidd wants to know too.
You know, Kanye did Papa Was a Player, right?
First placement with them together, I think. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, Mike, ask Coop, what does he have against Daily Operation and Hard to Earn?
I love Daily Operation and Hard to Earn. I do. I don't have anything against them.
Well, there it is. I
love Gangstar. I love I'm probably one of the bigger Gangstar fans that I know, Mike.
Yeah.
Like most niggas that love Gangstar the way I do are from New York.
Born King with the super chat says, pardon me, I just got back from another KD streaming party, and I must say this project needs to be a study in school for today's youth.
Ooh, you want to know? Somebody just posted Fetus. How about this? It's Fetus level to me.
I love
Beef is Fetus level. That's A game. Fetus, Beef, yeah, A level, yeah.
I love Fetus.
Love Fetus too.
I thought that would have been an incredible. That was supposed to be the intro to I Am, right?
Yes, Fetus is the original intro to I Am. Yes.
Jay Short says, I would like to see Hit Boy and T.I. I would like to see that too. Because I think that T.I. suffers from some of the things that I've, been critical of Nas for before this.
That's why I brought him up.
Is the fact that, he's never really had anybody to actually produce him. I think Hit Boy could do wonders with T.I. actually. Pharrell's tried.
Him and Nas suffer from a lot of the same ancillary issues and a lot of the same ancillary criticisms.
Pharrell has
Correct.
tried to produce T.I. and it just hasn't worked. And I really feel
I
like
enjoy the Pharrell records, Mike. I told you she's a freak on Urban Legend
no,
is
I
one of my
like
favorite
them.
tip records.
I
I love
like
that
them.
record.
I like them, but I think that Pharrell wants to produce an album from end to end, and they haven't been able to do that. I think that let me say this. I
You tell
think
him
that
to
if
push.
you
You tell him to fix half of Pusha T's album first before he going on taking on T.I.'s project.
well, I
How
think
about that?
that that's a legitimate
How about you
statement.
push? How about you produce Pusha T's album properly first?
Matt Max with the
Come
super
with
chat
Virginia
says
with this first.
Matt Max with the super chat says I'll say that Hit and Nas basically gave the senior circuit of rap a rap lane like how Floyd did in boxing. Now you have Mike Tyson out here doing celebrity fights. That's what this Nas and Hit union has done.
I can
Compare
see
this
that.
union to Floyd doing celebrity fights. All right, 007 with the super chat says Hit Boy should do an album with Cole or
I was thinking that in
save
the back of my head too.
K Dot.
Well, actually, how about this? Hit Boy and Cole, age wise, are right next to each other. I think Cole's like 33, Hit Boy's like 35, so they've seen and experienced the same
I
things.
thought they were
Their
about the same
comeuppance,
age. I
their
thought Cole was
comeuppance as
like
artist and
35.
producer is around the same time.
I think they're the same age. I thought Cole was like 35.
I thought he was 33, 34. But like I said, he could be 35 now. It's possible.
No, Cole's 37.
He's 37.
85.
Oh yeah, he is an 85 baby. Okay, yeah, that's perfect. Cole, Hit Boy, I could see that. I'm with that.
Mm-hmm.
I told you I don't. I told you I want J. Cole doing everything except for his beats.
Web Visibility with the super chat says it's crazy how Jay-Z did one verse recently and the entire media was falling over him, but yet they ignore Nas' run for 4 incredible albums in the past 2 years.
No, forget that.
That's
They're ignoring
interesting.
all the bars that I just spit out on this album that just came out today.
You know,
Who gave you the bars?
Nas needs a young guru out there. 36 Chambers with the super chat says the problem is who does Hit Boy work with now? Now that he set the bar so high and worked with the best MC, it feels like stepping down after this.
You know, an album like this, I have you look at that nigga sideways. Mike could be like, yeah, that album was good before KD3 dropped. That nigga, that nigga,
All right, man. I'm trying to get through the rest of these super chats. I think we're getting to it, but is there?
Go ahead, and then we can start talking about final album placement before we get out of here.
Yeah, before we get out of here, Jay Short with the super chat says it has been. It has to be Ye producing Jay-Z next. That's the only way. They both need each other right now, and a win would be great for both. I do think a win would be great for both, but I don't think Jay wants to be associated with Ye right now. I just don't. Politics as usual. Andrew Green with the super chat says Hit Boy definitely saved the best beats to the Nas folder. Benny, Big Sean, and the Game did not get this level of heat.
Mike, I told you that.
Yeah.
I told you when I heard that Benny album, when I heard the Benny album, which came after KD1, I told you, I was like, Mike, it sounded like he gave Nas his heat.
Yeah.
And I told you I was okay with that because that's Nas. No disrespect to Benny.
Ray
or
Rose
Big
with
Sean.
the super
It's
chat.
like, are Benny and Big Sean going to get the best out of Hit Boy's folder or is Nas? Like what we doing?
Yeah. Ray Rose with the super chat says Glorilla's album Bop. I believe she could be nasty under the right circumstances. Nas shouted her out. She dropped on the same day. He did. Thoughts? Yeah, I mean, I haven't listened to it yet, to be perfectly honest with you. It's been a long, long day, and I've been
the
kind of engulfing
hook to the
myself
bonus
in this.
record, he's shouting her out.
Yeah.
On the hook to the bonus record. Yeah.
No, I heard him shout her out, but I'm talking about I haven't heard her EP yet.
I haven't heard it either.
Yeah.
But, you know, like that's what I mean when I mean it's like, no, he's current, he's fresh, he's shouting out F and F. Like, think about this. Nas put F and F in the hook to one of his songs. Like, he's current like a motherfucker.
CJ Kidd with the super chat says, today after KD3, when we talking about the GOATs, this guy is still put Biggie over Nas. Even after all this work Nas just put in. It's just baffling to me. I mean, some people are just stuck in their ways. You know, it's like, that's more of an emotional, pick as opposed to really looking at this thing from an objective standpoint.
JC88 just made an excellent, insightful point. What do you think about Meth or Jadakiss with Hit Boy?
Maybe Jadakiss.
No meth.
This is the thing with meth, man. I think that
Uh-oh.
RZA's done such an incredible job with these guys early on
He hasn't
that.
done an incredible job with meth.
But what I'm saying, well, no, he still has Bring the Pain and stuff like that. So anytime anybody's going to work with one of those guys, it's going to be compared to what RZA's done.
Mike, but it can be done. I would like to submit to you a little beat from Jay Dilla called 10 Bricks on the Purple Tape 2, which is by far the best track on there. The best track on Purple Tape 2. Who produced it, Mike?
Yeah, Jay Dilla did
Okay.
his thing on that.
So it can be done. Dilla gave Raekwon the best heat on the Purple Tape 2.
He did.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Pete Rock, Dr. Dre, and RZA have production on that album, right?
I thought so, yep.
Yeah, but Dilla with 10 bricks. So it can be done.
Dilla's special.
Dilla different.
Peter Parks with Super Chat.
See, when people be having the pound for pound MC conversations, it's like, oh, we could do that with Dilla, and Dilla would always come out number one. It's like, well, beat for beat, and like, who's the best beat maker? It's like, well, it's Dilla.
It's crazy.
But Dilla don't have the Chronic or Doggy Style or the Purple Tape. You feel what I'm saying?
He's got Fantastic. And
that's not enough.
Yeah, I feel you. But it's a classic. Peter Parks with the Super Chat says, I think Nas and Hit Boy are going to keep going. They're going to make bigger and bigger sounding records. Okay. I think so too. I mean, I think that when you're continuously getting better and better, it's tough to just say, we're going to walk away just because we say so. I mean, what they got right now, it feels like I said after I heard KD2, sounds like they got magic together. They have a chemistry and they have fun making records together. And that was one of my big observations from this album. Nas really sounded like he was having fun. And why do you cut off the fun? You know what I mean? If you're having fun, why go work elsewhere with people that you got to go recreate a whole nother energy with when you guys already got this here? Like, there's no law to say, well, we got to cut it off right here. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, Guru did Jazzmatazz, and Primo went and made New York State of Mind, and Nas is like, and 10 Crack Commandments, and Kick in the Door, and The Evil. So it's like, we got to leave space for that to happen too. Like, that happened too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and this is what I mean about people using Hit Boy. It's like, well, I would like to see Hit Boy after this, truthfully, like not even pair up with one artist, but go on a DJ Premier-ish 94 to 97 type of run like Primo did. Mm-hmm. And then maybe circle back around like Primo and Guru did with Moment of Truth. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, no. All the cards are there to do that. Because if you really look at it, they did 3 projects together. The way Gangstar kind of did off rip, Magic really wasn't supposed to happen, I don't think. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at the 3 projects before Moment of Truth, it's like, well, there's a 3-year gap where Guru went and did his thing and released a couple Jazzmatazzes, and Primo went and carved out his legend, and then they came back together and made Moment of Truth and made a top 20 rap album. You know what I mean? So let's just say Hit Boy and Nas were to just follow that formula and do that technically. That's cool.
Yep. 36 Chambers with the Super Chat says, the Hit Boy and Nas combo is better than most other duos. Yeah. We got Rose Hunt with the Super Chat says, I think he made beef to stimulate thinking and stop killing. Definitely.
Yes. No. He speaks frequently on here on black men and women uniting, us stopping to shoot, us not killing each other. Multiple reference to us uniting and stopping the violence. Like on here, like multiple references to it, Mike. It has. And this is what I want to talk about is all-time places. Oh, Mike, it has a very black theme to it, a la To Pimp a Butterfly or It Takes a Nation of Millions. Except for unlike To Pimp a Butterfly, you can ride to this shit, Mike.
Yeah.
Very much like It Takes a Nation. It's like, it's just not in the titles. Like with It Takes a Nation, you knew what the message was. Well, you can look at the titles and know what the message is.
Louder than a bomb.
Yeah. Louder than a bomb. Night of the Living Bassheads. Welcome to the Terror Dome.
Oh, that's not on there. Rebel Without a Pause.
I'm sorry. But you get what I'm saying, though. Like, the songs let you know what was coming. These songs don't let you know what was coming, but the message and the themes are there.
DJ Bruce Almighty with the Super Chat says, did y'all hear the Juicy Fruit featuring T.I. song? He went in on Charleston White. Ain't heard that one yet.
No, we'll have to check it out.
I know Boosie and T.I. got a project coming, so I'm looking forward to hearing that. Yep. Okay. Man, Max with the Super Chat says, I was So I was dissing with the senior citizen circuit. I was just saying. I said I wasn't dissing with the. Well, he said he was dissing. I think he might have meant not dissing. I was just saying that Nas and Hit set a new lane and standard for older rappers to have their shine. Floyd's still getting more bread with these exhibitioners than you know.
You want to know what too? For
Butt.
me, it's like I know people keep saying Beef is the sequel to I Gave You Power. I'm gonna hit them with something kind of like how you hit us with the Quincy and Mike perspective. It sounds like the prequel, not the sequel. It's the prequel to I Gave You Power, not the sequel to it. Right. Because how does the gun get pulled? The gun gets pulled because Beef starts up. Yeah. So it's actually the prequel to I Gave You Power, not the sequel to.
Right. Liga M with the super chat says, Coop, I'm rooting for you to take Rosenberg's job.
He's in a lot of trouble. I'm coming. I'm outside. It's not a game. He's in a lot of trouble.
And that is not a threat. Okay.
No, it's not a threat. Like, I mean what I say. It's like, oh, no, all these dudes have, like, really been, like, affecting the game and not for the better. And one post isn't about to make me show mercy or change that. I am coming.
All right, so we're done with the super chats. Let's close this thing out. I mean, it's been a great show. We appreciate everybody's comments and their feedback.
Yeah.
And
we love the support. We appreciate y'all pulling up and supporting about all this. Like, it's been a lot of hard work, and we are tired. There's 704 people in the chat, Mike. That's my zip code. That's QC. That's Charlotte. I want it right there. Let's end it right here and talk about where this album is placed all the time. Well, there are 704 people in the chat. 704 West Boulevard, Beatties Ford.
So what do you want to talk about where it ranks all time or in this decade? I think in this decade it'll probably be a conversation that we can have now.
Let's have the decade conversation now, and maybe we can pull up on the all-time conversation if we can flesh something out from this one.
Yeah.
So let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Right.
Mike, I think for me, when I listened to how the album plays from beginning to end, I immediately went to Good Kid, Mad City and to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. So I had to go back to 2010 and 2012. What say you? Because I think it's better than To Pimp a Butterfly.
I think it is too. And you know how I feel about To Pimp a Butterfly. I love To Pimp a Butterfly. I think that the palatability, man, that was tough to say, is at a high level on this album. He's doing a whole lot of things and a whole lot of things that, you know, everyone can see at the moment. I remember being excited about To Pimp a Butterfly when I heard it, and nobody around me was as excited about it as I was. I was like, okay, well, maybe I just get it and other people don't. But it's not about me being able to get it and other people don't. I'm looking at it from a more dissecting aspect as opposed to it being an entertaining aspect. And we're here to entertain. And I think when you're able to do all those things, I would have to give this album points over To Pimp a Butterfly because I don't think To Pimp a Butterfly was able to do that on a galvanizing level. Luckily, he had All Right on that album and in his arsenal that kind of carried him over. But if it wasn't for that record, I don't think there would be much off of To Pimp a Butterfly that people would carry over with them. And I love that album. I still think it's his best album.
No, To Pimp a Butterfly is a masterpiece, and it's a masterful piece of work. It's not better than this, though. What does that say? It's not. Because for whatever you want to say, it's like, what do you love about To Pimp a Butterfly? Themes and concepts and rhymes? Well, it's right. You get what I'm saying? It's
production. Like, which is the better produced album?
That's not a question, Mike.
Yeah.
Because it's not To Pimp a Butterfly. It's not To Pimp a Butterfly. To Pimp a Butterfly is not better produced than this album. I want you to name 3 beats on To Pimp a Butterfly that would make the placement for this album.
These Walls.
I can see that.
Hood Politics.
Nope, that beat is not good enough to make this album.
You don't think so?
No, that beat is not good enough to make this album.
Huh.
I'll give you These Walls. I think that beat's good enough.
How much $1 costs?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I love You Ain't Gotta Lie to Kick It. I know you don't like that.
I like the beat better than I like the record, Mike. I'll give you that beat.
Mortal Man. No?
I'm with you on Mortal Man. No, I love Mortal Man. I think Mortal Man's a top 5 song on Spotify.
I like Black of the Berry, too.
Not the beat.
From a beat perspective? You ain't like that beat?
No, not compared to this shit. It ain't fucking with his shit on this. Not this. Like, I love Black of the Berry, but no, not the same level to me, no. But I'll say this to say, Mike, if we're saying the album's better than To Pimp a Butterfly, you understand that's the most critically revered album of this generation.
It is.
Like, critically speaking. I'm telling you, critically speaking, that this album is better. But I will tell you, I cannot reconcile myself like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Mike.
Yeah. But what I'm thinking about is 2020 and beyond. It's the
Oh,
best
yeah, I got
album
that.
of this
Go ahead
decade
and
right
go
now.
ahead and put that in the bag. You want to put
So it's the best
2021
album
in
of
the
this
bag,
decade.
KD3. But Mike, I'm talking like it's one of those that's making me like, no, it's like it's better than Alfredo in Astro World, in Daytona, and To Pimp a Butterfly, which means in its real placement, it's like if I'm talking Good Kid, Mad City, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, and those are the comps. Like when you buy a house, Mike, you got to see the 3 comps in the neighborhood. I'm telling you, the 3 comps for this album are To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Those are top 30 to 50 rap albums.
That's facts.
Right. Those are the comps. That's what I say when I'm saying this is special, and I felt like we was about to get something special. It's like, no, this ain't Alfredo Pray for Paris level. This is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Good Kid, Mad City level.
Yeah.
Right. That's different. That's top 50 rap shit, Mike. And unlike Good Kid, Mad City, and unlike My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Mike, alone, what is My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy without Monster and So Appalled and Runaway?
You're right.
What is the promotion for Good Kid, Mad City without Poetic Justice? Dr. Dre is on Compton.
Mm-hmm.
J-Rock is on the scene-stealing verse on that album, which is Money Trees.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Right. High level.
High level.
High level.
Not to mention the quick turnaround.
Mike, we can have a degree of the difficulty conversation another day, but just musically speaking, is there? If you want to talk degree of difficulty, you know, that's a whole nother.
Yeah, 30 years in your career. It's a little different. CJ Kidd with the super chat says, ask about Daily Operation and Hard to Earn because you only mentioned Moment of Truth. And
Step into the arena?
Yeah, Step into the arena. Plus, you put KD 1, 2, 3 over them and ranking Gangstar and Nas and Hit Boys catalog together.
I said KD 2, 3, and Magic.
Yeah, we got.
I said if you went Moment of Truth, Step into the arena. I said then I would probably go KD 3, Magic, KD 2, and then before a Gangstar album to make it in. You know, Mike, it's a conversation. Do you understand how crazy it is that this is a conversation that we're having? It's like, well, did Hit Boy and Nas equal Gangstar, Eric B. and Rakim's catalog in 2 years?
Right.
Like, we shouldn't be having the conversation.
All right, well, before we get out of here, scale from 1 to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
All right. Well, we out of here. It's been a long 2-3 days.
I don't even know what day. I know it's Friday, Mike, but only because we're doing the show.
All right. Peace, y'all. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the support. We appreciate y'all joining the stream, joining this show.
Appreciate y'all riding on these fools with me yesterday.
And continue to do so. We'll holler at y'all.